This is Boots. I'm here with Southie. Hey Southie, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good man. It's warm. I think we're all warm.
Very
Some of us
warm.
complaining, some of us saying it's just normal. Who else have we got here today? We got Tom,
Yo,
Melman. How are you,
how's it
dude?
going? Yeah, good man.
Yep,
Very good,
yep.
thanks.
And we got Rylan. We don't know when you might need to jump out to do some parental duties, but hey Rylan, nice to see you.
Be here enjoying this Bay Area weather.
Yeah.
The only one who thinks this is normal.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're here to talk about the 2072 draft in the IFL. Gentlemen, the players, the booms, the busts, the drama, the trades, the draft. Tell me all about it. Who wants to start?
We
Well,
have to
so we
start
start
with
at the
the.
top.
We got to talk about the quarterbacks.
We've got to talk about the quarterbacks. Which the first two or all of them?
Well, we could talk about uh Kramer's as well, but so before the draft, how did you have them rated?
I think how they fell.
Yeah.
I actually had the guy Colorado got oh my God,
Yeah, Paul Welch. I'm just putting him
Welch
up on the
Welch.
screen
Yeah,
now,
I'm
I
sorry.
think.
I
Yeah.
had him rated first.
I think I had Ingram on my draft analyzer. He was the top one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Southie, I mean, you're looking a bit harder at the combines maybe than the average GM, I think,
absolutely.
and Paul Welch's combines are absolutely insanely good, aren't they?
They
55
are.
solar make 22 bench. I mean, my suspicion is that he can creep up much higher than he has revealed himself to be so far. I mean, he's outside shout to become, or maybe not an outside shout, just has a good chance maybe to become the best quarterback in the league, doesn't he?
Well, I guess depends how you see him right now. I see him as a 72 future.
Yeah,
See,
can you see
I
my
have a
screen?
I have a
Sorry,
bad
sorry.
scout. I have a bad scout, and I see him as a 66. So that tells me this guy's much better, probably than even 72.
I
I
can see
think.
Oh,
your screen boost.
I
Yeah.
see your screen now. Yeah. I was busy
Yeah,
looking at
so
mine.
I see him 73, and I think
Yeah,
the thing, one important thing is that he jumped a lot after PS2, right? So
yeah.
he's a potentially masked guy as well because yeah, he climbed a lot, I think.
I
I
mean,
think he's like an 80 at the end of the day.
did
Yeah,
anyone really think he
Whenever the
was
day.
masked though?
Yeah, he was certainly masked.
I mean, maybe to your scouts because your scouts are intentionally trash, but like I think
Yeah,
everybody else thought he was just really good, and it was only like the bad CPU scouts that didn't really see it until PS2.
I think 55 soul and 22 benches insanely good. So my guess was that he looked better than what we saw in Draft Analyzer, let's say. We can, yeah, we can take a look actually. I'll just find him. He's a bit, yeah, actually in my Draft Analyzer, he comes out just under Kramer's. Yeah, like this. I mean, yeah, there's some variance here, right? This is just my scouts kind of version of him, who's not amazing, but
I've got
I'll
pretty
I'll
good
pull up
scouts.
mine and send you a picture of how I saw him
yeah,
with my bad scouts.
Yeah, I can
Hang
send
on.
you one from mine as well.
my Draft Analyzer thought that he was a 62,
Yeah, I guess
and that
the only thing that I see jumping really is accuracy, and that was like easy to predict that one of the accuracy or timing was going to go up based on his drill, but otherwise everything seems pretty much on with what he looked like.
yeah, don't get
Usually
me
the
wrong.
most mass bar for a quarterback is actually third down, and that didn't move much. So that was kind of interesting.
Hmm.
I just think that 55 soul is no joke. Even though he's like a purple group guy or a blue
But
group
yeah, he's
guy.
in a purple group and he's got 88 intel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's his avoid interceptions look like? Has anyone figured that out yet?
that's a good
Or either
question.
of these guys?
I can I can get that in a moment if I just run something. It might take me a couple of minutes to get it.
Nice.
No.
I mean, there's you couldn't go wrong picking in the top two here, could you? Doesn't matter which one of these guys you took properly, does it? They're both going to be 75 or more probably for most of their career, aren't they? And they're quite young as well.
I think unless I had a real interest in getting an amazing scrambling quarterback, I would have had to done Ingram. But if you value that scramble bar much, then you got to go with Welch.
Yeah, that's that because apart from that bar, okay, and the third down passing, I'm not sure whether you guys think that particularly does anything important or not, but other than that, they're quite similar, aren't they? They've got that kind of profile of QB which has a good accuracy and a low timing. That seems to be a type of quarterback that gets generated quite often by the kind of player creation engine, seems to me.
Oh, I love those guys, and I'm gonna change my mind. I think I like Ingram better actually.
Is it because he's bigger?
He's taller, yeah. That's a large part. Another thing I like is he has a 4.63 40, which is actually very good. It's not 4.45,
Hmm.
but he's got a low scrambling, which I think there's always something going on where a guy has a high 40 but a low scrambling. That's always an interesting thing to look.
Okay. Yep.
That's always interesting to me. I actually don't like scrambling quarterbacks, even though I drafted one in RZB. So I look at that as a detriment.
With somebody like Ingram, with that kind of third down passing and just generally how good he is at passing long and medium, probably not
Yeah,
scrambling that often is advantageous, right? Net positive.
yeah. I have no idea if that third down bar means anything.
Yeah, I
Does
don't
anybody
either.
else?
A lot of these things are impossible to say. Like, is
Yeah,
scrambling taking away a passing opportunity, or is it negating a pass rush opportunity?
I think it's taking away a passing opportunity, but I have no evidence.
I sort of lean like you evaded the rush and you took off, as opposed to you were pressured or knocked down or whatever.
Yeah, I do like it in the red zone. I don't know why. I think it seems to
Hmm.
help in the red zone.
I kind of like the idea of it if you're running a run first offense. Um, because it's just complementing what you're doing anyway. I think if you want to pass a lot,
So
I would say I'm skeptical about whether it does
I
help you
don't
on third
I
downs
don't
and so
think
on.
if you're are you talking about designed runs for
No,
quarterbacks
scramble bar,
or
scramble
No,
bar.
no, yeah, but I'm
but
talking
if you're running a
essentially
run
about
first offense, are you talking
no,
about design? Okay.
I'm talking about overall your team wants to run first, right?
Okay.
And therefore you know that your quarterback is going to give you 10 to 20% of your team's net runs
Right.
per season, something like that, right? So therefore
Yeah.
it kind of fits well with what you want to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to pass a lot, well, let's say when I have a scrambling quarterback and I'm passing a lot, I do find myself wondering whether did he not pass there because he didn't see because he didn't see anyone open, or was he just too kind of hair trigger to start running
Right.
when there was better options, right?
That's
Well,
my concern.
if you're one of those passing teams that's ultra pass heavy and you've gone ultra pass heavy offensive lineman, getting a scrambling quarterback is a way to generate some ground game without investing in run blocking.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
and Road suggested to me that you can see this in the stats because a quarterback, according to what he told me, won't generate key run block opportunities when he's running.
Not on a scramble, no.
Yeah,
On
right. So you
on design runs only.
or on design runs only. Yeah, exactly.
So have you ever converted your quarterbacks to running back?
Yep.
Not
Have you noticed
not in the
the
end
whole
game, just to look.
no,
Yeah,
just to
just to
look.
look.
But have you noticed the scrambling bar seems to have nothing to do with hole recognition?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I haven't done it enough to draw that conclusion, I would say. But
Yeah,
I have a
it has
scrambling
no
quarterback in another league. and I converted into running back just to see what his whole rec was, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean sometimes they're good at both, but a lot of times a low scrambling guy can still have a pretty high hole recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's more about the speed, isn't it? So if you look at his combine for his 40 dash,
I
it's
think
like a
so.
sort of
Yeah,
combination of the
seems
Well, I mean,
right.
scramble bar and the speed.
that's where you get your scramble bars, from your speed.
Yeah, but after the
But
first season.
sometimes if it's not there, the whole recognition is still there, right? Is that
Like
accurate?
my quarterback in the IHOF has 40 scrambling, and he has 93 hole rec.
What's his 40?
It's
What's his
4
45?
5, 4
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, okay. See, that's why.
How much do you think you can actually, if you're coming up against a guy who's got a scrambling QB, how much do you think you can really negate that on the defensive
Not
side?
that much.
Is it just indefensible?
In my opinion, like just for my, like Sally said, he thinks it helps in the red zone. That's my emotional state. I will fly in the red zone because I just hate what looks like a good defense getting beaten by a scramble for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I mean.
they can still take off, just like double coverage, right? We double
Yeah.
cover a good receiver, they can still beat you.
Yeah. Because I just think, like, it's when we think about it, a lot of it's from the offensive side or from the ownership of a QB like that. But I think it is one of those things that whenever I come up against a guy, no matter how much you sort of try and figure out where he's doing it and set up the QB spies and all that sort of stuff, I think if someone's good at it, they're just going to do it regardless of whether you try and stop them. So it's really, really hard to defend against, I think, in my experience.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think by far the most dangerous scrambler in this league is Bergman, right? In Tijuana.
Yeah.
That's what I find. He's unstoppable, and I've experimented with spying him, and I mean, you have a problem with sort of sample size when you don't play the team that often, but I mean, it didn't seem to help at all. In fact, when I tried it, it seems to make it worse. So, I mean, my default when I play against him these days is I try to just have good run defending linebackers in the down and distances.
You're about to build up a sample size here.
Yeah, probably. Probably I am, yeah.
I mean, when you look at these two guys side to side, really their profile is quite similar, both in terms of how they look now and how they plan to look in the future. Obviously, other than the scramble bars, the big difference, but
Yeah,
they've got
they're
kind
pretty
of similar
similar otherwise.
profiles. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the third down, but yeah, like we say, not sure it
I don't know. I
necessarily
mean,
does a lot.
crazy combines or crazy soul and bench on those guys and stuff. I looked at the AI. So for Welch in the future, it says it could be 69, and at the moment it's like 34 or something. So
Okay, so that's pretty good, but not insanely good.
no, not insanely good. But I don't know about. I've never had a purple group or a blue group or whatever a QB before. That's never because I do tend to avoid it just because of the high intelligence potentially taking stuff away from the avoid interception score and stuff. So
And that's
would be
another thing these
interested to
guys
see
have
how
in
it plays
common.
out.
Exact same group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a weird one. Two QBs at the top of the class, both in that Zodiac group. I don't think that doesn't happen very often. At least not in
Yeah,
my
and 21,
experience.
21 and 22, I mean, Ingram is an outside chance of playing more than 18 seasons, maybe, isn't he?
That's a big number.
So do they actually play longer? I know Rylan and I had this discussion, and I have no idea if they actually play longer if they're younger.
Well, I think quarterback is capped around 40 or 41, I think, aren't they? And then they just have to retire maybe after that. So
Yeah,
if you start younger, you could play longer in that sense, right?
yeah. Because I think when did this game? This game came out in what 2016, and I don't. Well, when did Brady keep going until?
I
Because
think
we had
Brady was
Oh God, he was about 40 around then, I
20,
guess, wasn't he?
2021, so I think he was 44, 43, 44.
Yeah, so I don't think by the time this game was released, Jim obviously hadn't seen that necessarily in real life with the Brady thing or whatever. At least in modern football. I mean, for an elite level guy, I mean, to
Yeah, I
start
think
with.
the latest. Yeah, is it the latest rosters on this game? Is Brady an active player? He's not, right?
I don't know because
If
didn't
he
he release
started
an
a single
update
player
in
Yeah,
game.
yeah, he
2020
is.
or something?
He is.
Oh, he is. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Hi.
mean, I've got another guy in another league who's I think he's 41, and this is like his 17th or 18th
Oh
season.
wait, Brady's last year was 22.
Oh,
Yeah, so he was 45.
Damn.
Yeah, he was definitely 45.
sure.
Because he was born in 77, I think, if I remember, but I'm not sure.
Sounds like the math is correct.
Yeah, I've got
I
my
think.
guy in another league is 16 seasons and he's age 40. So he was a little bit older when he came into the league. He was 23 when he was drafted and he's played to age 40. So, you know, if you are 21, maybe you could get 18, 19 seasons out of him. But I don't know if the retirement mechanic, I think I've had this conversation with Rylan before based on stuff on the help file. I don't know if it's more seasons played than it is to do with age per se, but
Yeah, so I was looking at Ingram thinking if he is really about 80 rated, he can have many seasons of declining when he gets to be 35, 36, and he still might make it to be 40 and be good enough to play, right?
yeah. Yeah, his horse tooth
Quarterbacks are
AI.
weird. They hold their ratings pretty long.
Yeah, and they have so much cohesion that you can build up in them as well, right? So, they can be Ingram might be a 42 rated quarterback and still be really good with, if he's been on the same team for a long time.
Yeah, and I think they can probably wouldn't matter in these guys' cases because they're such high picks but they can still unmask until like year 12.
Might be like
Yep. So long, yeah.
I've not heard that before. They can keep unmasking until like season 12.
Yeah. I've seen
And
I've seen it.
and what would that look like? Unmasking in year 12, like a sudden
It's
improvement or
just very
decline or
slow. Just slow and steady
yeah,
over
okay.
the years. Yeah. Nothing, you're not going to see huge jumps. I mean, once in a while you will, but
Yeah.
you'll see a few points, you know, after year 10, uh, after year 9, year 10.
Yeah.
They'll
So
slowly get better.
on these guys, then the consensus is what 1A and 1B. There's no clear top guy here.
I think Ingram is. I don't know.
You think Ingram? I mean,
I'm
my draft
converted.
analyzer had Ingram as the top guy.
I'm
but
converted. Yeah.
when we look at them
Yeah, I
side
mean,
by side, I mean, they don't look that bad.
yeah, I think it doesn't matter. I mean, they're both top quality franchise guys. Welch is a bit more unknown in the sense that he's shown some volatility in that progression from training camp to PS2 in the first year. I mean, I think Welch is a guy that could go higher than Ingram. Ingram looks, I think we're just seeing what we're seeing with him, whereas with Welch, my guess is we might not be seeing everything quite yet.
I
Yeah.
have to lean Welch right now. They're close enough as passers that I would give the edge to the scramble bar. And the deep passing stands out to me for Welch.
That's interesting. So the raw grades, which is supposed to be the kind of the real measure of the talent of the player, agnostic from positional value. And Rodney Ingram's was 74 or 7.4 as it would show in the game, and then Welch was 6.0 or 60 as I've got it. So like there was quite a big difference in the
What
raw
were the
grades.
developments? What were the respective developments?
That's a good point. Welch was 30% when he came in. And Ingram.
Oh, they
was
were the
30,
same, 32.
Ingram was
Yeah.
32, yeah. So basically the
But
same.
Welch is a year older and less developed, so that's interesting.
Yeah. That feels like quite a big difference in raw grade for QBs that have ended up looking, kind of similar.
I mean, the raw grade, I assume, is a big big factor to that is the bars, right? Like Welch had the combines and Ingram had the bars.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's where they're making it up in from opposite
Hmm.
categories to each other. Well, I think Ingram's combines were still good.
Oh, they were very good. Just that Welch's were amazing.
Yeah, the solar seismic on Ingram is supremely good. The other ones are really good, but not amazing, perhaps.
I don't know if there's a huge difference between 50 and 55 at that
No,
level.
I'm looking at the bench.
Oh, the bench. Um, yeah, 22.
I mean,
22
17
is pretty
bench,
incredible.
17 bench. You'll see some guys who've got that basically every season. 22.
Yeah,
That's rare, right?
you don't see many 20s.
So if Welch wasn't a quarterback, what should he be?
What a
Wide,
power
wide
lifter.
receiver?
Oh, right.
Wide receiver, 445, 693 agility, 22 bench. I don't know, tight end, maybe not quite strong enough.
Too small for tight end. He should be a
Yeah, a bit
receiver
small.
or running back. Yeah.
6'1", 217, and he's doing 22 bench reps. I mean, he must be pretty jacked. Who's the most jacked quarterback that's ever played in real life? That could be a suitable comparison. I can't really think of it.
That's a good question. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean,
Anthony Richardson, maybe.
yeah. Well, none of
Yeah.
them have looked. Well, Hurts is good. Hurts is good. I was going to say none of them have looked as good potentially as Welch, but Hurts is good.
A lot of the bigger quarterbacks are actually kind of fat.
Yeah, I was thinking like Dante Culpepper.
He's a big guy, yeah, but he just had a big frame. I don't know if he was really muscular, really strong. Maybe he was. He was like 270.
Damn, 270.
Some of that's got to be muscle, right?
Yeah.
270.
That is
I think he was six.
massive.
I think he was about 6'4", 265.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was huge. Probably too big.
Well, this guy Ingram, he was picked by the AI, but this team has actually got some human co-GMs now, right? I don't think we haven't heard much from them because if I understand rightly, they're actually kind of one of them at least has been moving house, maybe even from one country to another country, and yeah, it's been a little bit of a difficult time to really take over the team. But he's not going to be sitting there wasted on an AI team, at least it looks like.
Oh, I didn't know there was new GMs taking them over.
Who's
That's
taking
good for
over?
them. Yeah, I-
I think there was like two guys maybe asking some questions in the general front office football forum on Discord.
oh, right. I had seen stuff about that. Yeah.
And you said they're taking over Horsetooth.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's good news.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
that's
got
good
Tucson
for
on the call as well.
Yes, yes.
Yo,
Hey,
how's it
man.
going?
Hello.
Welcome.
I took an afternoon nap and napped a little longer than expected.
that sounds perfect.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. How are you doing, man? Let me guess, it's warm.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. I live in Wisconsin, so we're not used to it being like, almost 100 degrees. We're used to it being a little colder, and now it's like 100 degrees outside.
That's hot, man. That's hot, man. You can boil water at 100 degrees over here.
No, we use the Freedom units.
Right. Yeah, but that's still damn warm by
Yeah.
my standards, and I think Tom's as well.
hmm
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought Wisconsin was like snow all the time, basically.
No, it's not. It's supposed to be like, nice 70, 80-degree Fahrenheit summers, but yeah, no, those are long gone.
Nice.
We've been spending our time looking at the couple of quarterbacks that got took at the first two picks
Yeah, like
of the draft this year, Tucson. We've been around a lot of houses talking about these guys and which one do we like better and which one might have the better long-term prospects and so on and so forth. You got a preference between these two?
Um, I
You'd take either, wouldn't you?
yeah, you take either one. I think the top two quarterbacks like I don't know if I've seen a class that has had that level of two top end quarterbacks, like that quality of it, for a while at least.
About 10 years, maybe something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
I would lean towards Welch a little more because I like the timing bar. Um, and he's got a bit more timing than Ingram does, but honestly, like both are going to be great. Like you just need to understand how to utilize, their bars. But I'd
Yeah.
probably lean towards Welch personally for how I run my offense.
Yeah. We can take a look at the other quarterbacks in a minute, maybe as well. But one thing that jumped out to me was there was a whole bunch of guys that had really good sense rush this year.
Yeah.
Anybody else notice that?
Mm-hmm. I did.
Yeah. Anything else anybody wants to say about these two before we sort of start, maybe progressing through some of the other picks?
No, I think we've covered the most of it.
Did anybody have Kramers in the top 2 or 3?
Come on, Salty, let's get Kramer's up as well. I mean, draft my draft
That's the
analyzer had
linebacker,
him.
right?
That had him as the second guy. So let's get him up
Oh,
here.
him. Okay.
So he's gone to Columbia at 112.
That's not you,
Yeah.
Southie, is it? That's someone else.
No. I had a chance to pick him and I traded out of the spot.
So he's no combine as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have no good reason. I just didn't look into him too much because I didn't think he would be there. And then once he was there, I didn't want to make that decision. So
Fair.
I think it turned out well. But
Yeah, he looks all right. Like that's a starting quarterback when he's developed.
yeah, I'm glad I didn't draft him though.
Yeah, like at 12, that's maybe a little disappointing as far as where his bars ended
Well,
up, but
yeah, he looked
that's a starting
incredible.
quarterback. Yeah, he looked a lot better. It's like what I was kind of saying. He looked better
Yeah.
when you
Did,
looked at him in
did,
Analyzer,
did he?
and you
Yeah.
get this. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, he did.
the League Scout who is garbage. So
Yes.
pinch of salt and all that. But yeah, he did drop quite a lot by the League Scout. Let me see if I can just find him quickly. Draft analyzer.
I
What
can
you were
put
saying about
my bad scout in.
a lot of guys with sense rush. When I'm looking at the draft initially, something I'll do is I'll look at the QBs with like maybe 50 or above in sense rush, just to see.
Yeah, there was loads. There was loads
Yeah,
of them.
20 players in this, 20 QBs in this
Whoa,
class with
Yeah.
50
20.
or more sense
Yep.
rush. And my offensive scout is good. So those bar, the bar width there is pretty narrow. So that's crazy. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were all 89 according to my scout in sense
Mhm.
rush,
Wow.
which is you don't see that. Oh no, one more as well down the bottom. A guy Carl Catucci. He had 89
Yep.
sense rush.
Tucci.
I
Yep.
I signed him as a UEFA.
Oh, did you? Yes, there was a lot of sense rush in this class.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was absolutely loads of sense rush. There was a lot of I have a quarterback that I just like, so I didn't need to play in the quarterback pool particularly, but yeah, I would have if I'd been looking for one, I definitely would have taken a second or a third round shot if I didn't have a good position in the first round at one of those guys.
Yeah, and I'm already like, because my Heath is getting towards the end of his career, so I
You're
was
you're
at
you're,
least
you're starting to look.
considering. I was at least considering, maybe this is a year where if a quarterback falls in the first, I take him type of thing,
Yeah,
because there were a lot of good potential prospects there.
yeah.
I have to say, I needed a quarterback, and I love sense rush guys. I didn't like a lot of these guys. I wanted to like them. I didn't like them. I don't know.
That's fair.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Go on, Tom.
I was just going to say you showed that because you traded out of a spot where you could have taken this guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there was guys available.
And you continued to, well, we will see, but you continued the fine tradition in McCallum of taking outside linebacker as well, I think, didn't you? Or a linebacker at least.
Yeah. They're there. I'll take them. I'm not...
Well, the previous GM had a particular fondness for them as well. I think you've got guys on your roster that was drafted 1-1 and 1-2 who are both linebackers as well.
They're good. They're good. But
Yeah, they're good. But how many
I don't
can
even
you...
like drafting them. But if they're there, I will.
Okay, let's kind of park the quarterback discussion for a minute, although I do want to have one comment about this Paul Welch guy, because I gotta say I don't like the way that this guy ended up on Colorado's team. They basically did a multi-year tank in order to get themselves high enough in the draft in order to be able to make a move for a guy like this. And I mean, when they started that process, they had a quarterback that was this good, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty DaCosta, he'd already been to a bowl. Okay, he didn't win the bowl, but he had been to a bowl, right? So he showed that he could get a team there earlier in his career. He's still really good, right?
Mhm.
He dropped a little bit this season, but that's a couple of years after he was traded, right? And this league doesn't have any rules, really, so far as I can tell, about. It doesn't have explicit rules about doing like roster dumps or trading starting quality or top 5 level players for no reason. But that is what happened in order to.
Or benching starting caliber players for a whole season.
Yeah. For example, Seiferling, the running back, right, who was
Mhm.
not injured and was not even active for a whole season, right, in
Mhm.
order to ensure that that tank happened.
Mhm.
And on top of that, a game plan which was generating familiars in the second quarter, right? I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. That
Mhm.
happens when you deliberately set out to tank your team in order to get better draft position. And as far as I'm concerned, that's just cheating. And, it's covered in the constitution of the league, right? Well, first of all, it's covered basically under the anti-douchebag rule, but it was also specifically clarified that in the case of cheating, right? So this was with regard to, I think, 4-3 defenses running 3-4
Yep.
defensive game plans, right? But it says in that clarification that the basically anti-douchebag covers cheating, and it says they're part of a thriving league is playing for gamesmanship and in a sporting manner, and we expect our GMs to hold themselves to a higher level than that. And this guy is basically on this team for a cheat, right? So it's too late to do anything about it now, but I'll be making a suggestion to the board that we have a more explicit definition of what cheating for tanking means, because if I wanted to play against people that are not even trying or deliberately producing the worst game plan that they can possibly do, I could just play single player, right? I mean,
Mhm.
we all of us have lives to be getting on with, and this is wasting everyone's time, right? So, okay, good job getting a good player, but the way of getting him was detrimental to the overall competitiveness of this league, and it was detrimental to the time of other people that are bothering to take it seriously, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'll suggest to the board that in the future that could result in something like a first round pick being forfeited. Yeah, and I'm not talking about I'm not doing that well and I got some bad dice rolls, so I just lost interest for the last few games. So I'm talking about specifically designing terrible game plans in order to ensure that you can get a good pretend football player, right? I mean,
Yeah.
There's no
we'll see.
existing rule that could be enforced here.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that the anti-douchebag rule actually covers it specifically
Yeah,
in the
so
case
why
of
not?
cheating and
So
what.
why not?
Well, first of all, it's too late in this case, right? But also, at the time that I was thinking about making an approach to the commissioner, I knew that he was, well, subsequently he has stepped down and been replaced by Joe, right? But I knew even at the time that he was kind of at his limit for what he was prepared to deal with. And ultimately, as the commissioner, that has to contact somebody and sort of take the nasty conversation with them. And I didn't want to put it. I didn't want to put it on road at that time, right? But having kind of been through it once, I would say there were things that could have been done, right? Around the game planning, you could have been told, that game plan is not legal. You need to field something, even if it's just Rex, right? Rex wouldn't come up with a game plan like that. So just Rex if you don't want to play properly, right? And you can't sit that running back until you're not in contention for the playoffs anymore, or there are things that could have been done, right? And in this case, I think it's too late. But going forward, I would prefer that we don't have to see something like that again. Basically,
Yeah,
that's my take on it.
I'm in the dark here. So I can't really say much. I didn't
No,
game plan.
I don't expect everyone to weigh in behind me or anything here. I mean, it's personal opinion only, right? But like I say, we have a board, so I'll take it to them, and we'll see where we end up with it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think
All right.
it's disappointing if there's proactivity going into stuff like that. The IFL, since I've been in it for the last 3 years, we've fluctuated in terms of the amount of human GMs we have in here. There's been times where it's been really good and times where there's been sort of more AI and stuff like that. But I think from the human GMs in the league, you would hope to never see effort being put into that sort of self-sabotage if that is the case this time around. So
Yeah, and my personal thing, like, if I know I've had some bad dice rolls, I'm eliminated, I'll still pretty much start all my normal starters. Maybe I'll put in some guys who I'm looking to, develop a little more, and I might save off my game plan and swap to a generated game plan. But like, I'm never purposely going to try and suck as much as possible. To me, that just seems not right. It doesn't seem right.
I think it's possible to design a rule, right? You could just something like, if the playoff predictor has you at 0% chance, you can do what you want, right? Or if the playoff predictor has you at less than 10% chance, you can bench your starters and start your rookies. I mean, it's legitimate to want to get them experience, right? But only when you don't have a better option, basically.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll put it to the board and we'll see what they say. Let's just keep looking at players. Number 3, Jackson Sladen, London, wide receiver. The keen-eyed amongst you will remember that he also was able to just sit while the quarterbacks were taken last year and get himself a good wide receiver as well. Maybe not quite as good this year, but still pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I think he dropped a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But still a great, this is a wide receiver one on most teams when he's fully developed.
Yeah, a 2 on this team, but yeah.
Well, that's just because he has a better wide receiver.
Yeah. We'll see if he can afford to keep both of them in the future.
That's going to be a tough one.
I think London overall had quite a nice draft. I mean, stuff outside the first round really popped.
They had an amazingly good draft, and they did last year as well. I'm curious to know what lies behind the facade of I'm a new GM who's never played multiplayer before.
I mean, got to be a method there because, like, his fourth
there
round
is a method
pick,
there.
His 4th round pick is a 66 overall, and his 5th round pick is a 66 overall. I mean, given one's an offensive lineman and one's a running back, but still, that's a skill position and someone in the trenches.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good.
If you look back over the last 2 years' draft since he joined the league, the number of players he had that boomed is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them by 20 points or more.
That's crazy.
So they know what they're doing. There's no doubt about it. I'm pretty sure they're not just using Draft Analyzer and picking the next guy off the list.
Yeah, don't know what they're doing, but we have to start watching.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure we do.
Is it Flea Circus? Is that the GM there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting if he watches this or whatever, just if if he's chimes in and has he viewed his last two drafts the same way? You don't
Yeah,
know
man.
how people are judging their
We
own
don't
draft.
mind sharing a little bit of what we think. So maybe you'd like to drop in and tell us a little bit about, how you're approaching drafting, because we've noticed that you're doing it well.
Or even just comment on the board.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
Drop.
Yeah.
Drop by the Discord. Share your, spreadsheet, whatever it might be.
Tell us all your secrets. What are you seeing in the 4th and 5th round to get these nearly 70 rated players?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy looks maybe a little bit better in Draft Analyzer. Maybe not hugely better, but yeah, not sure there's much to say.
I mean,
Beyond he will get a lot of yards.
Yeah, he's got pretty much everything you'd want, I guess. Good route running. He's not going to drop the ball very often. He can play in all the formations with that endurance and stuff. So
yeah, and unlike some of the other wide receivers in the first round, doesn't have an obvious weakness either, right?
Well, third down.
Yeah, but even then.
But at the same time, even if that bar is like really low, for example, Ricky Carnation, who I had, I still threw him the ball on third down all the time because it's just that good.
Yeah.
Boots, are you not worried about him being fat?
He's 6'2", he's fine.
No.
I love his height and weight.
Yeah. Okay. We spent about 3 years talking about quarterbacks. Oh, sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
I was just going to say 6'2", what was it, 211? Is that big for a receiver?
A little big.
It's wonderful.
But it's I have no problem with them being a little big. Like,
right.
I don't know. In my mind, they can be more physical inside the the men playing in the computer type thing, which is obviously not real, but I don't care.
I mean, I'm like that. I like to.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
Exactly. The guys that are on the outside of the formation or whatever, I like them to be bigger. But yeah.
Yeah, I think there was another league that did some study that showed actually that all the best historical receivers were small guys, but
Well, the little gadget.
We're just talking about. Yeah, we're just talking about the top 5 of all time, right? You don't need to be that good to get picked at 1-3, basically.
No.
It's just interesting. Like some positions, people care about weight more than others, right? Like if I'm drafting somebody on defense and they're 16, 17 pounds the wrong weight, that's the difference between a 4-3 and a 3-4 guy. Like people maybe don't want to put a 177-pound DB at safety.
Or those like 220-pound inside linebacker prospects that keep happening.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I've talked myself into tall, heavy receivers. I have a bunch of them, but
yeah, I would like this guy. I mean, I think more strange would be I would like him at this size if he was a cornerback as well.
You think about it, obviously in the real game, height and weight and stuff, it impacts, the ability to catch jump balls and all that sort of stuff. And I know that these things are defined, but adjustable and things like that, avoid drops. I wonder if there is anything algorithmically that's impacted by height and weight to do with those sorts of things, to model that type of thing. But I think adjustable is just to catch bad passes, isn't it, from the QB? What's deemed a bad pass by the game.
Yeah. At least that's my take on adjustable.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how much goes that simple, but that's probably the majority.
I'm going to put it out there that I think adjustable helps when you throw into the outside. So the odd number.
Courage helps inside and adjustable helps outside.
Yeah. Basically. I think those like sideline throws are more difficult. So that means they're
Yeah,
more
that's true,
likely to
yeah.
be bad throws. And that means that having guys with adjustable on the outside is, in a small way, helpful.
An adjustable is like what, like a toe drag catch or whatever at the sideline, on like a curl or an out.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you could say it's a juggle and a catch or whatever, but I mean, just more simply, that's my kind of hypothesis. Is it's like courage for outside throws.
Yeah, yeah. Looking at the receivers on the board at the time, I thought this was the right one. I haven't really looked at anyone since, but the other obvious guy that was a bit higher up, who went at 1-6, I didn't think had as good. He didn't
No,
have a good
that's the
route
guy.
running.
That's the guy to coach her, right? No, he's not as good.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anyone better than this.
no, he was the right
Which is to
person
say,
receiver.
there was no slam dunk incredible wide receiver in this class. Probably this guy. There's one or two that you could say, maybe they're pretty much the same as this. They come a bit later.
Yeah.
This seemed like it should have been the pick.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
was the clear-cut best receiver of the class.
Yeah. Especially pre-reveal. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What do we got next? So London's packing wide receivers like crazy, plus getting loads of good value down the board. Los Angeles got themselves a not very useful defensive end. Is that how you see him?
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
him like this pretty terribly.
Did he crash out, or was he just always bad?
Okay, so League Scout says he crashed out somewhat. I think if I find him on Draft Analyzer, what I'm really going to show you is how bad my defensive scouting is. But let's do
Seemed
it.
to have bothered you.
I mean, I don't look. Just looking at his statics though, like his pass rush strength and his punishing hitter on mine, they changed by maybe 1 point. From like a 37 to a 36 or a 93 to a 94 or whatever. So I don't know if he was just not good in the first place.
So this is what I saw. So, okay, Combine's not amazing apart from his bench. And then you see the problem here is that the width of these bars is insane. So I don't know what I'm looking at on defensive players, basically.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, he looks better as a prospect than he does as a player for certain.
Yes.
I mean, even with these bars, he looks better. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I have a little smaller range. I can tell you basically all of the top ends of your bars
Mm-hmm.
are cut off a little bit from what I see in an uninterviewed view. So
Yeah. So he maybe came out on the low end.
yeah, he came out on the low end of most of the bars,
It's,
if
it's
not
not, it's
all
not
of
like
them.
it's not like he failed any of his combines or anything, right? So this is just also maybe a bit of a bad luck as well.
Yeah, and I think it was a little bit of a trap too, because he had a great bar score if you look overall at the bars, but you see like pass rush strength is his best bar.
Yeah.
His special teams which actually halved essentially, um, was his second best bar.
Yeah.
His pass rush technique was basically the same as his bump and run, and his play diagnosis bar was good, which that also ended up. I mean, that one ended up at the low end of that, but
Yeah.
he had decent bars as far as the number of value there, but for what you're looking at for a defensive end, you don't see the top bars as what you want to find in a defensive end.
Yeah.
And
He's
he's
a
old.
bit too small.
He's
And he's old.
25.
Yeah.
He was old.
Yeah.
Just looking at him on my sheet. So I thought, oh, he's the defensive end with like the highest raw grade or whatever, a 6.3, but then he was 56% developed. So he was like one of the most developed defensive ends in the class as well. So that was inflating his raw grade. So I don't know how much of that raw grade was actually devoted to his talent versus just devoted to the fact that he was super developed.
Yeah.
I hate high developed guys. I don't know why.
I mean, if they're developed in the right spots, I don't care. But
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not trying to win now either. I want to win like 4 years from now.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's not making a very good case for the high developed players because he doesn't look good. And the difficult thing with this is you're swallowing that rookie contract, and like realistically, he's a one contract guy, isn't he? You're not going to look to extend him unless you're really in dire straits on the defensive line. But
Yeah,
you
unless he reveals to be quite different, yeah. Which is,
you'd have to.
Yeah.
praying basically.
But it's a 14 million bonus for the next 4 years. It's a lot, even if you decide to cut him after next year or whatever. It's a lot of dead
Yeah.
cap. So
Yeah, and
it's tough
the other
decision.
thing is like even you can go find a defensive end who is probably similar, if not better, for like the run defense and pass rush technique on the free agent market right now.
Maybe. I think defensive linemen are people hold on to the good ones, don't they? Or even the average ones. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, I mean, would you, like if you're looking at this guy, would you say is he an above replacement level player? Probably not. You could probably
No.
get a guy with these attributes on the free agent market for
hmm
for less than he's paying with this draft slot amount, I think. Because
Probably about
Yeah.
a quarter of what he's paying him.
I mean,
Yeah.
are we sleeping on pass rush strength a bit? I mean, I don't really know. What is it? The direct counter to the blocking strength bar on offensive lineman or something? Is that where it
It
comes in?
I believe it is. You can have good pass rushing stats with a high pass rush strength, low technique guy, but
Yeah.
it's very rare
It's
that it
almost always
happens
an inside guy.
consistently.
It's always
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, he's a little bit light, maybe, but I
He's
mean,
an
I think
edge guy. I've never
it
seen an
has to
edge
do
guy with
something.
great pass rush strength put up numbers consistently.
I mean, if he had 50 run defense, I'd play him.
Yeah,
But
if you had
that
something else there,
out of 23 out of 30 is he's just a liability, isn't he? On base packages, basically. If anyone's
Could
going to
you-
run the ball,
he could probably gain weight, I think.
maybe.
I'd move him. I'd try to put weight on him and move him inside. It's too late for that, but
Yeah, but just
Well,
looking
I
at
I
mean,
don't know, man.
he could potentially do it next year too.
yeah, I would think
LA
about it.
they're a 3-4 anyway. So
Oh,
Yeah,
well then,
all right, put on weight and play defensive end. 278 is too small for a 3-4.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
Or
it's a
the other
shame.
thing that he could do is if he could lose weight. I don't know if that's possible, but he could be a heavy SLB
Yeah, that's an idea.
and blitz him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the linebacker's got to be able to stop the run or the pass. At least one of those, don't they?
True. I mean, he's got some pass bars. They aren't great, but
yeah, that's
yeah,
a rough one in my book.
yeah, it's very tough. Like
Considering
And
there are
I
potential places where he could play him where he maybe will make more of an impact, but than defensive end. But it's really tough with his profile physically.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately at 6'3", 278, he might be right on the spot where he can't really gain or lose weight as well. Unfortunately.
Well, he should
Yeah.
be able to do one or the other.
I think he could go either way.
And yeah, it's possible that he can go either way, but he should be able to at least gain or lose weight with this player.
The current weight is actually a disaster. It does you no good.
No.
Yeah, I mean he's fine on the left side of a 4-3, basically, if he had different
Yeah.
bars. So, so many caveats. Yeah, I mean, you look in Draft Analyzer, this guy was rated pretty good. So I don't think there's any sort of critiquing the pick. Just didn't work out.
Yeah.
4.75 edge guys. I don't know. That's a little
What is that? Dark
questionable.
green and
I mean, that's a dark green value. That's not bad for an edge guy if you're playing him.
In the top 5? I don't know.
Yeah, no, not in the top 5. I don't think.
in the top
Would
5.
give
if
me
you're gonna be
pause for
taking a-
concern.
Yeah, if you're going to be taking a defensive end, I think in the top 5, you're going to be looking for like an absolute game wrecker, like that guy
Yeah.
Boots has in Calgary and stuff. You wouldn't just take a run-of-the-mill defensive end in the top 5. But this guy's basically worked out at the very bottom of all of his bars. Just looking at
Yeah.
him in my draft analyzer, so
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
Yeah. bit unlucky as well.
Yeah.
Okay, what we got next? So 1-5. Okay, it's Howie in Boston got himself a nice cornerback who was injured only for 6 weeks. Not disastrous. That's the IFL for you.
Calf
Preseason
injuries are always
injuries.
disastrous, even though they're not disasters.
I also want to say Howie had a great draft too. Like
Yeah, I was gonna
Boston
say.
killed it in the late rounds.
And their 4th round pick and their 5th round pick again they're both well, his 4th round pick is actually shown by my scouts as an 80 overall, a future 80, so that's crazy.
Oh.
That is right.
That's the
I wanted
linebacker,
that.
right?
I wanted that guy too.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing to Boots, Dean Horonek. I had him because I needed linebackers anyway as a positional need.
Yeah,
had
I
him.
wanted that guy.
Yeah. But this guy looks good, so you
Mm-hmm.
know, he looks decent.
Yeah, I had this guy rated the best cornerback pre-draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah. Just about big enough. More of an outside guy. Really like the bump and run. Interceptions maybe a touch low. I would like a little bit more, I think.
A little bit more interception, did you?
Yeah. So he had 2 bars that really kind of stand out as far as unlucky rolls. One of them was his zone defense, which showed, at least on my analyzer, should have been 60 at the low end. And
Okay.
then his interceptions, which should have been about 70 on the low end. And those 2 bars did not end up happening to even reach the low ends from what I see. So maybe a little disappointing. Maybe a little disappointing with where he ended up as in those 2 bars, but you know, I going into this pick, if he needed a DB, I see exactly why he took him. Like this was the best DB on the board.
It'd be interesting to see how he sees him. Because okay, League Scout is rubbish, but League Scout sees him quite a bit better than this. So maybe how he sees a player who's also got a bit more zone, a bit more interceptions as well, maybe around 50 or a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, but a good pick, I think.
Yeah,
I'd say so. If he was looking for a DB in that spot,
I have a bad scout, and I see him worse. So
I see him as a 71, and his interception is a 40 out of 43 for me, and his zone rating could be a 50 in the future. So I see him a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ah,
what was the overall 70? You say? Yeah, we got Road coming to the call. Are you with us, Road, or are you just spying?
Hey guys,
hello.
what's going
Hey,
on?
man. We're talking about the draft, and I'm complaining about cheating to get quarterbacks earlier.
I just joined the call. I'm gonna cook something and have you guys talking in the background, but just checking in on you guys.
We got a question. We got a question before you go and cook. Is it too hot?
It's here. Yeah. It's quite hot here.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know. I don't know how to translate that to Fahrenheit.
We can help you. This one came up earlier. That's about 85, I think, right?
Yeah.
85. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at home. So yeah. It's quite hot here. It's gonna
At
get
10 o'clock
worse anyway.
At 10 o'clock in the evening as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it is. I mean, it's Spain, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's too hot everywhere. That's what we're concluding.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave for a while, but
yeah, we'll catch you later if you can make it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All good, man.
Yeah, we'll catch you later if you can make it. Thanks, man.
Sure.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
160 Andre Hahn split end to Dakota. That's Clown's team. He's got no courage bar. That's what I'm gonna say.
And route
I mean,
running's
Yeah, that's the first one that jumps out to me. is
route
the-
running's a bit of a bad roll. That
sub
came
50
out
route
on
running,
the
I don't like.
that came out on the very low end of his route running bar from what I saw in Draft Analyzer. So that hurts.
What?
Yeah, I was surprised this guy did what he did.
Weren't there a few of these guys with like really good 40 and agility and terrible bench?
hmm
I think
And this
I think
guy
there's a
really
couple.
good 40, 4.28.
Yeah, that's fast. 679. That's pretty fast. That's pretty good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's in the elite tier.
I think that might end up like 90.
What's that? Getting downfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the route running might do a little better than 45.
I agree as well. I think I expect that route running to go up
Yeah.
a bit
I
because
think it could get to
he had
60.
a really high soul score. Like he had a
Yeah,
35.
he was red. He was red. I was surprised by this. I thought after camp he was like a 50, 71, something like that. Maybe higher. And
64 by the league scouts, yeah.
no, but I mean after that was before camp.
Oh, before. Yeah. Okay,
After
sorry.
camp, he was really high. And then preseason 2 was
Brutal.
not very nice.
No.
I quite like receivers who have got this kind of bars profile where the route running is not that high, but everything else is high, except they would have to have courage as well, like 50 at least.
Mhm.
I really don't like this 2 out of 4, or I mean, whatever it is in reality, seems like it's going to be rubbish. And basically, half the root tree is unusable for this guy. I think he's garbage, basically.
62% development. There's something left here, I think. He's 50 now.
Yeah, and in our past talks with Road, didn't we like find like we kind of prove that percent develop goes off of like the most impactful
route bar. Yeah.
which should be the route bar.
Right.
So at 62%, you expect that he's got a little more to gain than just 10 points in his route running.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit. I'm not sure.
Like
we
it's
proved it.
it's not going to be well, no, we didn't necessarily prove it, but we did go through and we were the percentages were pretty spot on with most of the bars that we checked when we were looking at it. So
yeah, it could go up a bit, but I'm not worried about that root bar. Like I say, I could live with 45, but I can't live with 2 out of 4 courage. Basically, I mean, that's just.
I can. You just run them on the outside.
Oh, that just makes everything. It's a pain in the butt to design plays
threat.
for this guy.
Deep ball threat right here.
You can't put him on a secondary route over the middle either, right? And even an outlet is questionable as well. I mean, you have to go through your whole playbook and change everything to make this guy work. I don't know.
I just have him run like short out routes for a secondary route option. It's fine.
It's hard work.
Or screens.
No, I don't think you can run a screen without courage. I really don't.
Is a screen? I don't know if that would be defined as over the middle, though, would it, by the game?
A screen? I don't think it would.
I don't think it is over the middle, of course, but I honestly don't think you can run screens on guys that have no courage.
I always thought getting downfield was the magic bar for screens.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's
how does courage relate?
That's my belief.
Yeah.
Well, screens are weird, aren't they? Right? Because they're just in their own category. They're not short.
So I think the game got something wrong with the screens. Have you noticed?
Yeah, first of all, the screen doesn't have to be to the outside in real NFL, does it?
Yeah.
It can just be, over the middle as well.
I think the game messed up on the screens because if you're running a screen against the blitz, it's almost never successful, but it should be.
Yeah.
Exactly. It should be a blitz beating play.
it almost
Yeah, like a
works.
bubble screen on the outside should beat a blitz
Yeah,
10
it
out of
never
10
does in the
times.
game though. Yeah.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking like, you're running a screenplay with the running back up the middle against the blitz, that sometimes can, get blown up. But a bubble screen to a wide receiver, that should work every time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just to, reveal a little bit of how I do it. I use my big play and courage guys for screens.
Hmm.
Yeah. Don't worry too much about route running because he's not running any routes, right? It's just not even moving, maybe.
He
right?
stands there, catches the ball, and runs.
Yeah, yeah. And a big play is, in my opinion, that's what you want with a screen, right? Because what you want to do is bust it into something huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a run almost, right?
Yeah.
It's like a run to the outside. So it's actually, my feeling is that I get better mileage out of my big play receiving guys catching screens. And if they have courage, so much the better. It's not like I've done a regression analysis or anything, right? But let's say game plan testing, I think that in single player, that to me generates better yards out of screens on average. So I would not use this guy for a screen.
Yeah.
Even though his big play is good.
I'd at least test the waters with some screens to him, see if he does well or not.
Yeah. I mean, a sub 50 route running, for me, is a difficult value to justify at almost any slot on the roster. I want if I'm going to throw to someone and they're not just going to be inactive or they haven't got a special teams bar or whatever, I'd want at least a 50 in route running. So he's got those other bars and it's nice, but I don't know how I would factor him into a game plan where he's going to receive, I don't know, more than one target or two targets a game. I've never dealt with anyone below 50 that I've planned to throw to. So for me, that would be my biggest sticking point, even if he has got other bars.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could be a wide receiver 3-4, and you can definitely throw deep as well as to just generally to the outside. I think, right? He's got that getting downfield, big play. He's got to avoid drops. I think those bars are all good when you're throwing the ball deep. Route running, I mean, one take on it is it's about volume of receptions, right? How many times he can be targeted. I think it's probably a bit more than that as well. Like just the quality of his chance of getting open, basically somehow related to it as well. I would say. Yeah, I don't know. For me, this guy is not a good pick at 1.6.
No, I don't think that 1.6 represents good value there. I think
based on what we see now, anyway.
Yeah.
What we see.
And like I said when we initially started talking about, like, I think this guy, like, it wasn't necessarily a bad pick when he took him. It just turned out bad.
Yeah, that bench would have killed it. I wouldn't have picked him there with 6. But I mean, we'll see. Prove us wrong, Cam. 2,000 yards, please. And then I will eat my words. Okay, next was Houston. I think Houston was probably an AI pick, were they, at this point? It was Slam, right? But he stepped down. I mean, even if he was technically still the GM, I think he wasn't able to really pay much attention. So I'm pretty sure this was an auto pick, this one.
I don't hate it.
I
think he's got, breakaway speed, hole recognition. He can catch the ball out the backfield. I like the elusiveness bar. He's got that.
I hate the elusiveness bar. I would like it to be a lot lower, but you can use those guys, and this guy can be a very
wide
good
receiver.
He's
a wide receiver.
No, he's too short and fat for to be converted to a wide
Oh,
receiver. But if he, was a little taller or a little skinnier, he would be a great, convert to wide receiver potential.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
something I have really done a lot of, converting running backs to wide receivers, so I would never. I haven't been brave enough yet.
I haven't either. Yeah.
I also wouldn't want to take a guy 1.7 to
No.
convert to a wide receiver unless I know for sure he's gonna turn out good. Like
Still probably wouldn't.
it's yeah, I still probably wouldn't, but like yeah.
But if you did feel very good about the conversion, that's quite a Moneyball type play, isn't it? Taking a running
Yes.
back and then flipping into a receiver and making him potentially more valuable. I mean,
At
Yeah.
1.7, you think? I don't know.
I mean so say you got a running back where you see like he's got, near max of all of the pass catching bars and you're like, "Oh, this is going to be a great wide receiver conversion." That maybe some people might not be thinking about, and you get ahead of the curve and take him a little higher up. Um, like I could see a scenario where it happens, but you pretty much have to know going in like this is going to be an insane wide receiver.
yeah. And I don't know how you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
But
the
I
last
mean,
two,
yeah.
they've kind of shown the last two picks, or this one and the wide receiver before. Maybe it was a bit shallow in like the skill positions at the top of the draft. If guys like this are going in the top 10, obviously this is an AI pick.
Hmm.
I'm just looking at the running backs. There wasn't really anyone who was obviously more of a stud running back that I could see straight off
No, like we referred
the
to,
bat.
probably the best one was the guy London took in a much later round, right? After he popped.
hmm
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
but
for wide receivers, there was, uh, yeah, like we had a run on them later in the first, but there weren't really any ones that really popped out as like
Oh,
top
I
tier
like.
talent after the first.
Oh, after the first? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the guy. Well, we'll wait till we get to him.
okay. You tell us when we get there.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Norfolk. Um, hmm. I didn't have this guy rated particularly high.
I didn't either.
He's pretty flat in his bars, right? He's like kind of Mr. 50-ish and everything.
Yeah, yeah. My draft analyzer had him fairly high up. Like it had him rated as a first round player, but looking at the bar profile, when I see a lot of those flat bars, I get scared, and I probably would not take a player like this in the first half of the first round because I get
His
scared
co-
by that
his
flat profile.
his his combines are pretty good, actually, aren't they?
Oh yeah, he had an elite combine. He was basically elite in every single category.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Nothing to scare you there, at least.
No, not combine wise. Just bar profile was the only thing where it's like, yeah, I probably would not take him until the later half of the first.
Does he look like this for you guys as well? I'm really not sure about my defensive scouting, so I mean, could be looking at a ghost player, to be honest.
Yeah, I see him as kind of
But
the same.
About the
yeah,
same.
I see him a little bit higher rated than you
It
do,
looks a
but
lot worse for me.
it's only like 2 points overall.
But if he looks worse for you, Southie, that's good, isn't it? From
Yeah,
a player perspective.
I think he's actually pretty good. I don't know if he's a top 10 pick, but um he's not gonna be bad, I don't think.
No, this is a starting safety
Yeah.
caliber player, but
Mm,
I don't
10? I
think
don't
he
know.
I don't think he was worth a top 10 pick though.
no.
No. On the other
Is
hand,
it,
not screwing it up. There's something to be said for just not drafting a bust.
True. That is very true. And as we stated, like his combines were elite in every single category. So I can see the mindset of like, oh, I expect all these bars to, be more on the top end. That
Yeah.
just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just that sort of a little bit good at everything bar spread that I don't know. Sometimes I like guys that are, a safety. I'm quite happy for him to be completely jacked in zone defense and interceptions and then lacking in a lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rated 34 overall and just got 3 bars basically.
Yeah.
Or
I
he
mean,
won endurance too.
Yeah, you want endurance, and he's got high intelligence and stuff, so he's not, he's not going to be a liability in terms of
Yeah, his
giving up touch.
interceptions is pretty good. His play diagnosis is okay. His punishing hits is fine. His run defense could be good. I mean, if he creeps on one of his pass coverages bars, then maybe it could be a pretty
Well,
serviceable strong safety rather than a free, maybe.
yeah, I think he's a strong safety over a free safety. I
Yeah.
see his run defense potential as 70, and then his zone as 54. So basically on his coverage bars, I see him a couple of points higher than what you see. On
Yeah.
his play diagnosis, I see that a little too higher than what you see.
Yeah.
Interceptions is about the same.
When I first saw this guy, I was a little bit underwhelmed, but I don't know. I think maybe if he doesn't, if he doesn't drop as he reveals over the next couple of seasons, then maybe it could be worth persevering with. To be honest, I've played worse guys than this at strong safety and done fine. So
Hmm
maybe it's good.
Yeah, I think he's all right. If he can play up to that interception bar, then he could be, his coverage bars might not matter so much.
Yeah, and the run defense, right? I mean, that is 66. That's useful.
Yeah.
hmm
No, okay. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one. Rally.
Another one
That's
of
an
these
AI
guys,
pick, I think, right?
pass rush strength guys. Is this an AI pick?
I
I think
I
I think
I
so.
think it was.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, this hurts as an AI pick.
In what sense?
It's just not what you want.
I think it's
I, I,
pretty
t-
good for a
I-
defensive tackle.
yeah, but in the top 10, and like he doesn't have elite run D, he doesn't have elite pass rush technique, like
AI loves drafting a defensive tackle.
doesn't have great play diagnosis either.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, he's not a bad player, but at 1.9, this is not good.
No,
What if you
He's
need a
going to be
leader?
What was
He's
that,
the best.
Riley?
He's the best leader in the game.
The best leader in the game?
Leadership and
Yeah.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, send him to Vegas.
I mean,
He's
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 going to
in
get a
that
big,
he's in that purple group.
yeah, he's going to get a big
Send him.
contract at some point because someone's going to try and get him when he becomes a free agent. If he
So
becomes a
isn't
free agent.
Vegas yellow for their front? I don't think he's purple for his defensive front.
I don't hate this guy at all. His combines are also pretty good, I think. 43 bench. He's got to be right up there, one of the strongest guys in the league, isn't he? Where do I find the old
Yeah, it's that one.
league strongest man? JJ Russell, there he is. He's fourth. Equal top.
That's not bad, is it? Considering he's a rookie. And he's one of the only defensive tackles in that top 15, basically. Everyone else is
Yeah.
offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Crazy. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to spend too much time, but I mean, I think the AI has picked worst defensive tackles top 10 that we've seen over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, and the way this top 10's been shaping up is, it's fitting that this guy's gone 1-9, I think. Makes sense.
Okay, to round out the top 10, Norfolk got another pick. That's right, because they were also involved in that trade with Colorado Springs.
Hmm
They dropped down a little bit to let the quarterback be taken there. Yeah.
The pick I traded, or was it 11? I can't remember.
You.
No, weren't
I'm
you
not
one,
sure.
You were 112, weren't you? You traded with
Oh, I was
Columbia, didn't you?
12?
Didn't you
No.
trade for
Yeah,
didn't you trade
didn't
up
you
for
trade?
QB?
Yeah.
No, the guy I traded with didn't take Kramer's. It was the guy after.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that was Montreal that took that linebacker after this one.
That was my trade? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah, I
this guy
was
looks all
11.
right.
I wasn't 10. I was 11.
I mean, if you're playing press coverage, this is your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Smart with interceptions, play diagnosis, so he
He's
knows what's going on.
yeah, he's slow, which is
Yeah,
why his man bar isn't great.
I don't know about the slow corners.
I've got
No,
him
me.
way down, like significantly down the list of DBs in the first round.
Who did you have above this guy, for example, Rylan?
Both of the safeties that we took, uh, Lester Gaines, Cody Scott,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and even Dustin Slater.
yeah. So you're thinking like Thomason, for example, that you took in the second round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually want endurance, that's one thing, but
Nevertheless, in isolation, and if he's playing, I mean,
this
he's
guy
fine,
seems like
isn't he?
an undersized safety to me.
I think much like a lot of these other guys, it's like I can see if I was looking at my roster and I had this guy as part of my DB group, I wouldn't be disappointed. But if I was looking for who's the first DB that I'm going to put in the depth chart, it wouldn't be a guy like this.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So I can
Yeah.
see him in the group.
What would you like to see different?
Oh, for a DB1, if he's going to be playing cornerback, I would definitely want more man to man. You know, not a lot,
Yep.
but I'd want 50 or
See-
over really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the size?
You
I can
know,
live with the size.
yeah, I can live with the size. I mean, I'm not dialing in too much on size for DBs like that. I think he's all right.
I can't live with the size.
I play a 4-3 in this league, and I think the DBs are smaller in 4-3. So this is my only 4-3. So I don't really know the sizes so much for that one, but just smaller is okay with me, I think.
Just 4 pounds
I,
difference.
But between the 3-4 and the 4-3, you mean, or between the
Yeah.
ideal and this guy?
3-4 and 4-3.
Is it? I
Yeah.
thought the cornerbacks in the 3-4 had to be
4 pounds, 4 pounds lighter than
okay.
3-4.
Okay.
So
What
it's
don't you guys
197 for 3-4 and 193 for 4-3.
Oh, I thought 4-3 was a lot lighter than that.
Nope.
I feel like the game generates a lot of lighter DBs though.
It does.
Yeah, I feel like the player pool, if you look at the leagues you're in and stuff, I feel like is populated by a lot of DBs like this. So they exist and they
yeah.
I don't know if the league suffers for it in terms of the DB performances and stuff.
I'd,
Do you know
I'd
what I
play
mean?
this guy in the slot, where I think maybe that his run defense is good. I play quite a lot of press one, so that bump and run defense is useful when you're playing as the nickel as well.
And if that
And I
zone
think
comes up to 53, I think that's fine to play.
it's good. It's good enough, and
Yeah.
his speed is a bit less of an issue maybe in there, and that's how I would use him as the nickel.
Another guy who's smart as well, so he's hopefully not going to be
And
giving
he's
up
really
lots
smart. Yeah,
pass
yeah,
interference on 3rd and long or whatever.
yeah. I think he's decent.
Yeah, so he's a guy, but he's not the guy at 110, I don't think. But then no one really has been outside of the top 2 picks, I don't think.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just
Three.
from memory, there was maybe a couple of. I think there were some better prospects for playing cornerback than this guy. So there is always that, right? You could maybe have had a better defensive back than this.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're looking for. There's different flavors out there.
Yeah, yeah. So Montreal. Is this Lannister?
No, he's Iowa.
No. Yeah,
He's Iowa. Who's playing at Montreal these days? Can we remember that?
It was Chris, wasn't it? But then he stepped
Well,
down.
Chris stepped down, yeah.
Yeah, Chris stepped down a few seasons ago, didn't he?
Was it?
Yeah, is that where I'm getting confused? Where I'm thinking
Montreal is Superman 66.
Superman. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, that's someone we don't. I don't know much about them. Um, nice linebacker.
Great. Love this pick. He just kind of took who I felt was probably the best player available at that slot.
League Scout reckons he went up a bit.
He looks good. When I sorted my draft analyzer just by the rate column, he was the second prospect on the board for me. So
Same.
Okay. Let's have
yeah.
a quick look where I had this guy.
I will say
I think
though, I
he
had
he was
the
6th for me for rate, but I mean, he was basically the top 3 or 4 prospects in the draft class.
Oh yeah,
I do
my
have
I had
I
him
have the
behind my linebacker, but I had him high.
yeah. Yeah, he looks good though. He looks good. I mean, for an inside guy, he can do everything. And he could even wait aside. You know, he can play in a pinch. He can play on the side with that bump and run and stuff. You know,
hmm
he's got the skills to do it.
I mean, he's also got a good enough, pass rush technique and strength where he can blitz too.
Yeah,
He
he's
can
gonna be
really
pretty good
just do
against the
everything.
run. Yeah, special teams. I mean, he's got average intelligence, which is
I think
not
the only,
bad.
like, this is obviously a great player. I think the only question here would be, is this where the first linebacker should come off the board?
In a weak skill position player draft, I don't mind it.
yeah, I don't mind it either. I think it's okay.
I think if you were
Great
gonna,
player is a great player.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think yeah. If you're talking without looking at the draft, like the actual pool of players, I think an inside linebacker taken high up is not what you want to be doing. If you're going to take a linebacker, it's maybe a guy that you're going to flip to defensive end or
Oh,
something.
yes. Oh, sorry. I was watching a baseball game. Rafael Devers just hit a
All
home.
right.
It's
I,
Devers' first home run with the Giants, so I'm very excited.
Nice.
I thought I was just making a take there, and I thought you really agreed with me.
Yeah. Well, that as well, yeah.
But yeah, I think this guy looks like a good player. So
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I had a linebacker like this as well, I run a 4-3 basic, and this guy could play strong side as well,
hmm
play middle.
Yeah, if you're running a 4-3, this guy's kind of got, tweener size where you can play him at 2 of your linebacker positions and not really worry too
Yeah,
much.
I wouldn't worry about it at all. Playing weak side if I had better options on the other ones as well. I think he's good,
hmm
really good, and his insurance is high enough that he can play almost every package, right? Maybe take him out of one, I think.
Yeah.
Just about high enough.
Yeah, what I'd probably do is I'd play him in base 2 and see if I can get like a coverage guy for base 3 and then try and play him in every other package. See if he has any issues for stamina.
Yeah. I mean, depends a bit what your opposition scouting tells you as well,
True.
right? About
True. Yep. Because you'll want him playing in whichever base defense is going to be called more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like him a lot. Almost never going to fall to the part of the draft where I'm drafting, unfortunately, but there we go. Um, okay, it's Glennis Kramers. We talked about him a little bit already.
yeah,
He's kind of raw and a bit hard to read, so we'll see. We'll see how he shapes up.
he is green as hell. That guy. It's going to take a lot of
113. Oh,
that
sorry.
Kramer's guy. Just sorry, one last thing on Kramer's. He's probably not going to.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of those guys who takes like his whole rookie contract to develop. I think.
He needs to
Yeah.
play, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy's going to need to play if you're going to develop him, and he's already 23, so
Yeah.
time to get a QB mentor and get this guy some starts.
So you might really, you might not actually
Assistant
see
coach
what he is.
specializing in QBs.
Yeah.
Maybe that too, yeah. Let's take a
Yeah,
quick
so
look. I can't remember who.
you're not going to see what he is until his like year 4, really, until he's
Mhm.
got rid of all the green.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see whether he starts or not compared to this Marlon McGee guy. He hasn't got a lot of experience starting. Yeah. I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 113. I think this was an AI pick, even though this team is now run by Jimmy Johnson, but he was not able to participate in the draft.
No,
Very good combines.
no, he picked him. That wasn't an AI.
You picked him?
Yeah, he told me he picked him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I heard that he hadn't been able to register, but yep, fine.
No, he
You
was
know better
there.
if he told you.
We talked about it at the time. I told him I really like this guy. I actually had him as the top receiver, which is I don't know what that says about me, but I did have him as
He's not too far off, but
yeah.
I mean,
He definitely could be the best receiver overall, right? I mean, he's basically the same as that other guy that that
he's
other
got
guy. That's the guy I mean.
he's got a
Much lower
little
route
less
running.
of the little less route running, little less getting downfield. I still think Slayton turns out to be the best wide receiver of this class, but I
Yeah,
think this is probably number 2 or number 3 right here.
Yeah, I mean, players they vary a lot, don't they? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what we see here, 4160, this guy might end up being 49, he might end up being 72. So he's there or thereabouts to be the best.
I think he'll be way above 49.
Oh yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
I don't think you have 428, 21 bench, and so on and so on. He's young as well.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yep.
Gonna take a year to get super productive, but yeah.
46% right now is really not bad.
No,
I know his
mean,
route running isn't good right now, but like for
Yeah,
a
I
developed
just
number,
meant
this
No.
like he's basically going to be like getting wide receiver 4 routes and maybe throw a couple of passes his way a game.
Yeah.
In the first year.
we'll see. He hasn't played in the preseason. It doesn't look like very much. You would think this guy would have been in all the formations, right? But he's still rusty.
How much
I would-
development can you squeeze out of the preseason? I don't quite understand that.
I mean, definitely some people hit recommend and take a chill pill to preseason, don't they?
That's
Yeah,
me.
probably.
That is me.
I
I'm
sit
one of
on my
those.
I sit on my starters.
Yeah, me too.
And try to get all the young guys in, but I don't know if it actually does anything.
I mean, it at least gets
Well,
the rust off.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this league, it does do something sitting your starters. It means they're not dead on week one, right? which can happen.
A moment of silence for those who have lost starters already.
Yeah. I had a quick look through the injuries earlier. It didn't look too bad actually this year.
And you get that week 5 influenza outbreak. I've had that so many times.
Oh,
this year.
yeah, that's
The whole
horrible.
pre-season and then the last pre-season sim where everyone gets influenza for like 4 weeks
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Good pick. I like this one.
Yep.
What we got next? We got it's okay. So next is Jazik. He took another one of those timing sense rush guys. He's also a scrambler.
I think he didn't want this guy, and he traded him during the draft.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, this
That's
was
right.
an auto pick.
So this was an auto pick, and then it was traded by Kansas to Georgia. I actually don't know what the details of the trade were.
I'll have a
I
quick
didn't
look
like
on
this
the-
guy.
A quick look on the forum.
I was
Looks
interested
so-
in the sense rush timing combination, but he didn't turn out that great.
Yeah, so Kansas
Let's
sent
see if
this
I
guy
can-
to Georgia in exchange for a 2nd and 5th in the 2073 draft, which I believe is next year.
Great trade.
Yep. Great trade.
Okay, so let's have a little look here. So my draft analyzer thought this guy was going to be basically around overall the same. Good scramble, good kick holes, elite timing, possibly good sense rush, but maybe also just around 50 sense rush, which is what he got. better at passing long than short. Very undeveloped. Pretty good soul, 37.
I've seen guys with profiles like this.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
Hard
some
to
people
say.
make them work, but
Hard to believe that this guy's going to be a world beater, in my opinion. But
yeah,
maybe there's a system
Like-
where this guy works very well.
I actually interviewed him. I think it got hard to read. I
So
don't
how
know.
do you have a way of interpreting a hard to read interview result? Does that warn you off, or does it,
No, I actually like it sometimes.
Mhm.
It's not bad, but I didn't like this guy. I don't know why I even interviewed him. I didn't really like him. I hate any guy whose top two combines are bench and saw seismic. I don't like that. It seems like a false. Yeah, I just don't like it.
how can you hate the solipsismic for QBs though? Isn't that their one?
Yeah,
No, I
and-
like it, but when the top two combines are the bench and the saw seismic, I don't like that.
Right.
The other
His,
yeah.
yeah, his position drill
And
was
the
like
position drill, yeah.
just below elite as well.
Mhm.
To me, he's got to have an athletic combine somewhere.
Yeah.
I need to see an athletic agility or 40.
Yeah, he's also got that weird kind of, he's very high scramble bar, but he's not particularly quick, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. So wouldn't
Well,
you know,
I mean,
That's a
he's got
blue
a force. He's got a 4.67 40. Like it's not like he's slow.
It's a blue.
I mean, like, there's a
Oh, is it a
quarterback.
blue? No, it's not a blue.
No.
There's a
Well,
quarterback.
he's
right,
kind of borderliney, isn't he?
No,
Mhm.
it's
Sorry,
not.
Rylan.
Yeah.
there's a quarterback with a 4.72 40 who has basically a zero scramble bar.
hmm
So I would say the 4.67 max scramble bar does stand out a bit.
It
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very unusual to see that without him having like 4.40. But it's like you take a look at his agility, his 40, and it's like it's not like either of them were really far off from being great. They were just kind of just outside the edge of it. Um, so I mean, I'm not as worried about it because like he's close, but the bar profile is what scares me. I would prefer that he's a little better in the passing bars than what he is.
yeah, I think I
What
would
does
too.
the
He was
league scout think?
super raw as well when he come out. He's like 7% developed.
hmm At 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that can be good as well, right? If you can develop them. What's the quarterback? So he's been playing in preseason. Let's see
hmm
that. And then Georgia's other option there, kind of vet, is Covington.
hmm
For whatever reason, he didn't play much last year because he got injured in week 6. Okay, that's
Okay.
probably the reason.
He was playing really good.
Yeah, he looks all right.
Yeah, he was playing pretty good.
It's another case though of when you've got a rookie QB like this who's like 18% developed now, was 7% when he was drafted and stuff. Sitting him is only going to hurt him, I think. Even if
Yeah.
he's 23, so he's a little bit older or whatever. But I just think he won't gain enough just from riding the bench, even with a mentor. I think you want to give
Yeah,
him the
and
reps.
there isn't a mentor on the roster either.
No, you want to just let him take his lumps out there, and it depends where you are really in the build of your team. But if you're taking a QB at 114, you're not going to be in sort of win now mode.
What'd you say the trade was? A 2 and a 5?
Yep,
Yeah,
2 and 5.
a 2 and a 5 next year. Yeah.
And Georgia tends to draft fairly low, so it's the second half of the
Yeah.
second rounds probably. I mean, maybe that's a price that's worth to take a chance.
Yeah, and I think he's looking at this as potentially quarterback of the future
Whoa.
for him.
You walk all the way here?
So
He's gone on the right, or this wheel to left on the left.
like
Don't
I
think
get
that's
I get
draft
him.
yet.
Oh.
I see why he wanted to give up, 2 and a 5 for it. Like, if he sees this as his future starter, that's pretty good value. KC
Yeah.
wasn't going to use him, so they got good value. I think it's a trade where both sides win.
Could be, yeah.
What's that?
Cody shot. Okay, so this is Lannister.
hmm
I did not.
This guy looks good.
Love this corner, and he's
Yeah.
21, and he's a little bit bigger, which I love getting corners who are a little bit oversized as well. So I think this was a great prospect, great pick.
Yeah, amazing pick. 21, 70 rated overall. All of his bars are good, apart from his zone defense. High intelligence, good size, nice
Yep.
versatile size. I think that guy, it's hard to believe that this guy didn't go in the top 10, having
Yep.
seen the other picks we've seen.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
I think when you're looking at the what was it, the JR, I forget his
Yeah.
last, JR
Armstrong.
Armstrong. I think this
Yeah.
is what should have been picked there, personally. But
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Not
this
that
guy-
much in it on the combines, maybe, but yeah.
and an added bonus on this guy, something that I really love. This is your punt and kick returner here.
I was just about
Yep.
to say, it's not
You
just his
have bought
position.
yourself an extra player slot by having
Yeah.
somebody who can do both at a good enough, rate that you're not really worried about it.
Exactly.
That's a great value.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's an incredible value, I think.
Some people would say, do you want a player this good on special teams? But, I agree with you. I would play him on special teams.
Yeah, I do. I don't care.
hmm
Injury risk, stroke, getting
I don't
himself
care.
tired or whatever. But
I don't care.
it's not really people, is it?
I value that extra player slot over almost anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad start then for Lannister.
Yep.
No, that's a really good start.
Yeah. He plays in the same division as State College, doesn't he?
Yep. And London and
Oh, and London as well. So having like a really shit hot lockdown corner might be quite useful for that team as well.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, this
I
guy
just don't know what a corner actually does.
They intercept passes and run them back for touchdowns. That's what they
Oh.
do.
Yes.
They do, but they never seem to. You never seem to get the value you want out of them. That's the only question.
I know what you mean when they sort of say, "Can I get paid 35 million a year?" That can be hard
Yeah.
to swallow because the defensive end does seem like a better use of that money. But
Yeah, you can
to
survive with an average.
some extent, you have to take what guys you can get, don't you? I mean, you couldn't
Yeah.
pick a
No,
brilliant
this is a great
defensive
pick.
end here.
It's a
So,
great pick.
yeah. Really nice. I think there's a kind of interesting guy next, apart from the fact it was picked by an AI. I mean,
I like this
wasn't
guy.
it? Yeah, it wasn't a great tackle class, I don't think, was it?
I know why you like him, Southie, because he's 6'9".
Because he's 6
And-
foot 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a little light for Southie though.
He is, isn't
he
he?
needs to
So
gain
about-
weight.
I put weight on him. Yeah.
About 340 would be better. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I was gonna take him, but I did like him a lot.
7 foot long arms.
He's like
I wouldn't have taken him at 17, but
he's basically a right tackle. I mean, he's basically a nose
Yeah.
tackle, but in a offensive tackle
Yeah.
position.
Yeah. His bar profile is a right tackle, not a left
He's
tackle,
so
but he is going to be a
so
beast.
dumb.
Yeah.
He's so dumb.
dumb is good.
I have seen worse. I have had a center with 1 intelligence.
Yeah, and you can have 0, can't you? So
I've- yeah, I've seen
technically,
zero.
technically, it could be worse, but he's incredibly dumb.
I mean, he's good. Do
yeah.
you think if you tried to position switch this guy, do you think he would still take a hit from left to right tackle? Because I think the game generated left tackles, there's something about that that's unique, isn't there? Like, even if you've got a right tackle who comes out as a right tackle, but his weight is more suited to
Yeah.
left tackle, his bar profile, if you change him or if you try and change him, it will still say, oh, he'll only convert at 80 something percent or maybe 90 something percent. Do you think if you tried to change this guy to right tackle, he'd still take a hit, even though that's like a
I don't think
lesser
so.
skilled position?
I don't think he would take the hit.
I don't think
No.
so, but there's no reason to do it.
Yeah, that is also true. There isn't. You really don't have to. You can just play him at right tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's on an AI team, so
True.
I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I mean, if he was on a human team, yeah, you're right. I mean, the only thing that would, if you wanted to use him as a right tackle, you'd have to just play him there, wouldn't you? And then I don't think his experience would increase through playing the position, and he could stay at a left tackle without any issue, I think.
If you're at the
Interesting.
314 mark, you can go right to left without a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
He's come in with experience on both sides of the tackle spectrum at
Mhm.
equal levels. He's 5 in right tackle and 5 in left tackle,
Yep.
which is interesting. I don't know if you see that a lot, but
If he was on your team,
not that high.
you'd switch him to center, wouldn't you, Southie? Have a 6'9" guy in the middle.
Yeah, no, he could play center. Yeah. No, I'm done with switching tackles to guard until they're old. I've gotten burned on that so many times.
But to your point about the experience, though, Tom, I think because he's 24 years old, that's probably why it's as high as what it is for those two experience.
yeah.
Because this is one of the oldest prospects of the draft class.
Yeah.
You're 25. Yeah.
Under what circumstances could this guy play left tackle?
Injury.
I mean, maybe on a
Could he play left tackle in a heavy run team?
High sense rush quarterback.
High sense rush quarterback. Yeah, okay. Because he's going to give up sacks, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, super heavy run game plan. He might be able to survive. But even then, if a sack is given up, you'd have to think that the dice roll would give it to this guy.
Yeah.
Just because his pass blocking is going to be so low.
I think he's a bit of a sort of enigma player where he's kind of not ideal for playing tackle, but he's not going to drop down the board much further either, even if there was no AI picking.
Yeah.
So, if you say, is this guy a top 20 pick? I mean, he just is a top 20 pick because somebody's going to pick him there, right?
Yeah, I remember looking at this at the offensive tackle class when the draft class was revealed, and just thinking, it's not a great year for offensive tackles. There was no one who really
I thought
had
the
a
same thing.
profile.
My comment on that is, wait, you thought there was a tackle class this year?
Yeah, exactly.
He was the guy.
These guys. Yeah, he was the best of a bunch, but everyone's profile was kind of skewed in one direction or another. There was no one who had a really
and if they looked half decent, they were dumb as hell, or yeah, there wasn't much. Okay, what we got next? We got you, Southie.
That's my
Your guy, according to the League Scout, he popped massive. Yep. Well, 21 points. That's pretty big.
That is pretty big. It's a huge pop.
This guy was third on my draft analyzer, and right behind the top two cornerbacks. So this is first position player. When I sorted by rate.
He was a weak side linebacker. You haven't position switched him, have you?
He will. I have too many outside linebackers. I just don't know when to. My weak side linebacker is really good, so he wouldn't play.
So what are you going to do? Oh, he's an inside linebacker now.
He is now, yeah, but he'll move outside. I think. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. But I like my weak side guy, so I don't want him stuck behind him.
As the 4-3 defensive managers are crying.
Why?
Because this is what you want in a defensive end for a 4-3.
Yeah.
This is perfect. This is an elite 4-3 defensive end right here.
Why didn't he go earlier?
No idea.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
All of your linebackers, Southie, they're all 255 or heavier.
Yep.
Even the guys you're
Yep.
playing on the inside.
Yep. They're huge. They gotta be over 6'2". So
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, this guy looks great. He looks amazing.
yeah.
And looking at him in Draft Analyzer, he's like the opposite of some of the guys that we saw earlier, where they just came out of the bottom end of all their bars. This guy has like maxed basically everything I saw in Draft Analyzer.
He went above max for some of the bars that I saw, like his run defense. I saw that at like 60, and now you see 39 out of 87. Like this guy boomed on top of maxing out his bars.
The combine was just incredible.
Yeah,
I don't know why I interviewed the guy. It was
this is a guy you wouldn't have had to interview. Like I see this guy, he's available. I pick him.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know,
And plus,
I have two insane defensive ends. If this guy was still on the board at 22,
Oh, yeah.
this was my pick.
if he well, just the max static bars and the combine. I think he had two max.
Oh yeah. So this, I mean, we know that my defensive scouting is not the most helpful, but I mean, he's got basically a max combine.
Hold on, let me put my guy.
Yeah, and he's got two
Bad
max
scout.
static bars.
Yeah, I don't know why I was dumb enough to interview the guy.
I thought my scout thought his endurance might get to 50 in a good, if he was lucky.
I had
got to
zero.
100.
I had zero endurance. Let's see.
But that's a mask basically then, right?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to.
You guys are gonna laugh at this.
Which chat did you put it in, by the way? The group chat?
Yeah, the group. Yeah, it's right there.
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
In the Zoom chat, I think you mean.
The Zoom chat.
Oh, okay, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the Discord one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, I'll find it. Just a second. It's because I'm screen sharing, isn't it? It's making it difficult.
Nothing, basically. And it's man to man. That is crazy.
Yeah. Look at the run. I mean, the run defense is ridiculous.
And the play diagnosis. I mean, they've basically gone to the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a picture here for anyone who's listening or watching that can't see the chat or whatever. Oh no, his boot's getting it out.
Yeah, I think this is what you saw, Southie, right?
No.
No. It's this one, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah,
there he
the
is.
difference there is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your bad scouting look. So you're saying his run endurance, there's no way it's that bad with these combines, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. when it's that poor, there's a mask going on. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, this is what I think he looks like.
Yeah, he's all right.
I don't know what I'd do with this guy. I mean, I just tell him to stand somewhere and invite people to take a walk around.
I don't really know what to do with him either, so I'm playing him inside for now, but that's probably not the best use of the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like, you know what? He's just got all the bars. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. I almost want him in coverage, but I don't really want him in coverage, but I almost do.
Yeah, you do as well, right? Or eventually you do when he gets filled out.
Yeah.
Today is another day to
Yeah, amazing pick, man. Figure it out.
Yeah, incredible value at in the middle of the first round. Like,
yeah, and I traded
great
down
job.
And picked up a second. That was the great part about it.
Great job. You got the best defensive player in the draft.
No, I think that other guy might be better. Harnick.
Yeah, Howie's fourth rounder.
Yeah.
This guy looks good though. I mean, and he's going into a strong group as well.
Hard to compare.
I mean, maybe if he was in a 4-3, You know, he might get a little more value, but I like this guy is insane. Like,
Yeah.
you put him in a 4-3, this is a Hall of Fame defensive end as long as he stays healthy.
Oh yeah.
Very high talent level, I think. And really, that's that's what everyone's shooting for, isn't it? Is you want positional value and stuff like that. But I think if you can get just someone whose talent level is really high, then
That's why I
One-
try not to think about position. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a
one thing I have noticed though, from I drafted a few linebackers in the middle of the first in a different league, and the position group, they have some of the most jacked contract demands I've ever seen. So at the moment in another league, I'm paying like $40 million a season to my linebackers because they're just. So how are you going to cope with that? Because you've got a lot
Oh,
of good guys in that group.
he identifies outside as well, which is a problem.
So that second contract's going to be huge.
that's fine. Whatever. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna have like second contract for this guy, you're gonna be paying like 40 mil a season. Bare
That's
minimum.
fine. We'll deal with it.
Let's have a quick look at your other guys, because my favorite thing about this pick is it's just McKellen. It's just so McKellen, right? So you've also got.
linebacker? I think I
Yes, you
signed
got.
one in free agency. I don't know what I was doing.
You inherited this guy, right? Gornell.
That's my weak side guy. That's why I
He was
don't
picked.
play him at weak side.
He was
Yeah.
picked 1-1, and then you had this guy Quiros. He's another one, isn't he?
He's my
Mhm.
strong side
So,
guy.
so he's a 1, and he was picked at 1-2.
Yeah.
So you got a 74, 74, 85. That's a lot of linebacker, man.
Maybe
It's
that's
too
what they're
much because I
contracted
wanted a
for.
defensive
Mhm.
tackle and I didn't get him in the
It
second.
is too much.
Well, and then you have Dollar on your line as well. Like you have
Yeah,
some.
but I need a nose tackle. I really need
Yeah,
a tackle. Nothing's gonna work without a nose tackle. So,
Oh, he's good as well, yeah.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
he's very good.
Yeah.
But I need a nose tackle. I wanted that guy with 0 endurance in the second round, but the AI took him. I can't remember his name. Aguayo, I think his name was. I might have the name.
Yeah.
Something like that. But no, like you have a lot of young defensive talent. Like
We're building.
I don't want to play against your team
We're a long ways
because your
away.
defense is scary.
Switch to a 4-3, make these guys all defensive
No, I'm
ends.
never gonna switch to
Don't worry about defensive
Oh,
I
tackle.
dude,
cannot.
dude,
I cannot.
dude! If you switch to a 4-3, oh my God!
I
Like,
cannot run a 4-3. I've never been able to.
I mean, you have the bookends already.
Uh, so you would play dollar inside or outside?
I'd honestly trade Dollar.
No. I thought about somebody offered me a first for him, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, like I would switch to a 4-3, trade Dollar, get an extra first round plus maybe milk a little more out of it.
So you're
And
saying
roll with the
put
4-3.
put
Howard and
Howard
the
in.
other guy who has like 100 pass rush technique and 100 run defense. Like those are your bookends. Howard would have to play on the left, and you have the other guy on the
Gornell.
right.
Yeah, Gornell
Yep,
to
Cornell would be your right defensive end.
6'5". I don't know. I hate the 4-3.
Oh, dude, you could have two guys who are picking up 15 sacks a year plus in a
Yeah.
4-3.
I don't know.
Just something to think about. You have the setup to have two
I've
elite
never. Yeah.
4-3 defensive ends playing together. It's fun when it works.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but this is the McKellen way, man. You play 3-4, you just draft elite linebackers every year in the first round. Don't worry about it. You got depth.
Yeah, we do. Tried to trade one of them. Nobody wanted them. O'Hara. Give me a fifth. Come on. Can't tell me it's not worth a fifth.
Let's do a bit of marketing for you. Ahara, available for a fifth. If only I had some cap. Well, he's there, people. available until week 8 or week 10 or whenever the trade deadline is. What happened after this guy came off the board then? Texas got a running back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, they got something. League Scout reckons he dropped a lot, and his whole recognition like tanked according to the
Wide
League Scout.
receiver.
This is a guy who I would consider
Yeah.
swapping to a wide receiver. He's
Yes.
still going to be a little short, a little fat, but he's not, too far, on that scale
Yeah.
where I'm worried about it. And that 84 running bar is screaming at me, make me a wide receiver because I don't think this is a viable starting running back. And,
Yeah.
for a first round pick at 18 overall, you kind of want to get a starting running back if you're going to draft a running back. So
Might as well, I think. Flip him.
yeah, for me, this is you should switch him to a wide receiver, or at least do check to see what he comes out as a wide receiver before rolling
Yeah.
with him as a running back.
No, he'll
Can
be
you
fine. Do it. Salvage something out of the pick.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd give it a go. I mean, I really like that avoid drops as well.
yep. And I mean, he's got 55 running or getting downfield, so he's not going to be bad in that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to actually increase.
I
I think it is.
don't know.
I mean, if he changes position, his combines will come more in line with a wide receiver, next
yeah.
season, right? So you'd expect his agility to drop from that number.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
He's a sub-7 agility as a wide receiver,
Could be.
I think.
I'd be guessing a bit, but yeah, I mean, that's what I'd hope for at least. So can you, I know you can change position before you make your export, right? But just
Mhm.
because you see what you see when you change position, that's
No.
not a guarantee of what you're going to get, is it? It's like a rough guesstimate
Yeah,
only, isn't it?
it's a guesstimate. Yeah.
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 I don't think it actually adjusts for the projected percentage. So how
No,
to
okay.
88%, so it doesn't actually account for that.
Yeah.
I think I've done it so little. Really never done it myself.
Yeah, me either. But I mean, yeah, looks to me like it's worth a shot with this guy because he doesn't have, yeah, as you say, Tucson. Did he get a running back? Not really, right?
Yeah. He got a player,
Yeah.
but and I think this player is best suited to switch to wide receiver.
Yeah. San Antonio, strong side linebacker. My feeling was outside linebacker was like one of the places where one of the strongest areas of the draft, and this guy is kind of indicative of what you could get. I think there are a few guys that looked this good to me before we started.
You can't really play in a 3-4, can he?
You tell me.
On the
Why
inside,
not?
I guess.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
what about inside? You wouldn't use him inside?
No. Run defense isn't what I would like.
Well, it's playable. It's a starting level run defense when he develops. It's not elite, but 62 is nothing to scoff at for
No, I was
run
thinking
D.
he could play weak side in a 3-4, but it's the short guys. I don't know about them.
He's too. I mean, he'd have to gain some weight too. He's 14 pounds underweight for.
It's not the weight that bothers me as much as the height. But that would be what his bars tell me he's a weak side linebacker in a 3-4. Maybe a strong side with that coverage.
Yeah, I think he's. You have two options if you want to go the route of where you're trying to play him, where his size profile is better. It's middle linebacker. And if you want to play him where his bars profile, I'd probably keep him at strong side linebacker. But he's going to be undersized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the problem, as I see it, taking a kind of 4-3 type strong side linebacker like this in the first round is you don't play that guy drops out a lot, right? For the nickel corner.
I thought the weak side would. I don't know if
No, in the 4-3 the weak side stays in. And the
Yeah.
strong
Yep.
side guy is the
So
one that
play him
comes
at
out.
weak. So play him at weak side.
You definitely could. I mean, he's quite big for that position, but I was saying before, I like
Yeah.
these kind of guys that are a bit in betweeny and can sort of do a bit of everything. Yeah.
I mean, it also depends upon what 4-3 you're doing. If you're doing a 4-3 under, he's big for a weak side, but he's almost ideal if you're running the 4-3 over.
Is he? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Could be.
because it's 246 for the over for weak side.
Okay. So then he's just a good 4-3 linebacker, isn't he? You can
Yeah.
sort of use him pretty much anywhere.
hmm
Yeah. Okay. That's the conclusion.
The other fun thing about 4-3 is like with a linebacker, if you get a linebacker who's between 240 and 250 pounds, you can play him anywhere in the formation. You play where the bars show that he is going to be best.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do it, but
I know.
I think it's great.
That's one of the things that I personally love about the 4-3 is I find there's a lot more flexibility with where you can play your players.
That's interesting. I don't. Yeah, it might be true, but I don't know. Might be right. You're probably right.
The next pick is a strong side linebacker as well. He's also in the same division, even
hmm
to Georgia. He's a bit different, this guy, right? He's less good in coverage, and he's quite a lot stupider, and he's bigger, and quite a bit younger as well.
He's good. At least you know where to play this guy. Or you
257. Of course, you think he's good, isn't it?
a little short for me. A little short, but yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's like what? He's not 6'5". I don't want him.
Yeah.
Gotta be 6'2".
That's interesting though that he's 6', 257. 6 foot feels like, I don't know, it must be quite a
Bowling ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, he's dense for sure.
James
Looks okay,
Harrison.
though. I mean, yeah, exactly. Both those guys will be good. You know, they'll both be good linebackers, good at different stuff.
hmm
But he can't rush the passer as well, but he can do that somewhat.
I mean, use them as blitzers.
Yeah. Those are the
Yeah, and
spots
if
where
you
you want to see the outside linebackers, like the late teens, early 20s. I think that's fair value there.
hmm Especially in a draft where the outside linebacker group was a position of strength in this class.
yeah, outside linebackers and defensive backs seemed like there was quite a few nice ones to choose from. Yeah, he's kind of intriguing. I think this Marquis Riffer, whatever he's called. Okay, let's carry on. Next is Frankie Orlando, another cornerback. Lester
Ooh.
Gaines. Did he tank?
Yep,
Oh,
he did.
He
I'm sorry.
I'm not surprised on this one. These are very pedestrian combine numbers.
yeah.
Not pedestrian, but they're not first round.
Well, yeah, the combine didn't reflect his bar profile.
Yeah.
So there was, you could at least see that there was a chance that this was going to happen, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
it,
wasn't
it
a
did,
bust,
and it
this
hurts.
this is a reveal then, not a
Yeah, I
bust,
guess.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his bars looks good, didn't they? Pre-draft.
Too good.
hmm
Too good.
I'm surprised his man fell as much as it did though, because I mean he did have at least a decent 40.
I think it's going to zone, and I think the zone is why his 40 was so high.
Yeah.
Because the position drill, it's good, but it's not. I don't know.
Now,
Yeah.
if you take a look at where his bars ended up and his size, this is probably a potential swap to safety. Or
Yeah.
like you don't have to position swap, but you can play him at free safety, I think, and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Has to be. He's not
He's
a
definitely usable there for sure.
Hmm.
he's not a corner to me. I don't see him that way.
Not anymore, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I have guys that are not quite as good as this who start or play a lot of corner for me, but I
Well,
didn't take him out. I didn't take him
yeah,
at 121.
absolutely. That's what I was asking earlier, is because these guys, you can get by with them if you have a good enough pass rush. And I don't even think you needed to have a great pass rush, but
No,
that's what I wonder
71.
what corners are worth.
No, best pass rush that you can possibly get.
Yeah.
Like I never have a good enough pass rush. I always want a better pass rush.
Yeah. No, you never do. You need to be 4 deep. You really do.
Hmm.
This guy he certainly could play for me on third down, I think. I quite like to play press two on third down fairly often. I think
Yeah.
he's good enough at that. Not amazing, but he's definitely usable. I guess
So,
that's what I'm saying.
would you play him from the nickel?
Mm, yeah, maybe. Kind of depends. I mean, right now I've got better corners than this, but for the last 10 seasons, this guy could play right cornerback, to be honest,
Okay.
for me
Doesn't
in
the
some
nickel
packet.
need to have a run defense bar?
But it's less of an issue if it's on third down, right? Because they're
Yeah.
more likely to be
Yeah.
passing anyway.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I was talking specifically in the third down realm.
Mm.
third down, he could also play nickel as well. I mean, he's not exceptional, but definitely good enough. Is there much more to say about this guy other than, he kind of revealed to be a bit less good than he looked originally. He's still usable, but,
You can't draft these guys in the first round. I'm sorry. You just can't do that.
I would look at it a little bit more like, but if you do, it's not a disaster.
Not a disaster, but it's not what you would want to come out with from your first pick of the draft.
Yeah, and again, there were better defensive backs that come later,
Yep.
not only in the first round.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I don't care what his bars look like. You can't draft a guy like that in the first.
Combines you're talking about now, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Needs to be exceptional somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can even have a green. I don't necessarily care about that.
Oh yeah, definitely in broad jump.
Yeah. No, I mean outside of broad jump. He could have a green somewhere, but he's he's gotta show me some he's gotta stand out somewhere.
Yeah. It's you next, Tucson.
Yes, it is.
Oh, well.
This guy's garbage, isn't he?
Trash.
Terrible pick.
No, so I based off of the fact that our first round was blazing fast this year.
Mm.
I was hoping that I could get an interview in before as we went into the second day of the draft for the first
Mm-hmm.
round, which didn't happen because we almost went through the first round on the first day. So had I interviewed, my pick probably would have been Scotty Schultz, who's going to come up in a couple of picks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but because I didn't have an interview when I was looking at this, I felt like this guy was just the absolute safest pick out there to get an impact player.
I had him rated the second best prospect in the draft.
Wow.
He was a little lower, but I think he was in my top 10 still for prospects. And it's like, you looked at the combine, the bench was, I'd like a little more out of the bench, but everything else was green or bright green. And the bar profile was amazing. So I just felt like he was a really safe pick, and he turned out to be that. And I think he actually gained a little bit. You check his overall. Look at the league
Yeah.
scout.
Let's have a look. Well, League Scout
Actually,
records have dropped, but League
yes,
Scout seems
but
much different to how I
but
see him.
yes, my scout saw him a little lower, and then he jumped up in the preseason too.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, as we learned last time we looked at the draft, if you don't have two good guards, you don't have any good guards. So have you got another one?
The most underrated bar in the game is the pass blocking bar for guards.
Oh, especially for me, since I have a
Oh,
zero
God,
sense
yeah.
rush quarterback, I need guards who can pass block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he looks awesome, basically.
Is he going to start?
Yep.
Tucson. Yeah.
Day one starter.
Yeah.
The guard who I signed in the last offseason tanked and is now no longer on my roster. So he was originally looking at being the replacement for Arrington, but due to the other guy dropping, he is now starting opposite of Arrington.
I think he'll be great. And he'll be a starter for his whole career. He'll play for you
Yep.
for 12, 13 seasons.
I don't know about 12, 13 seasons, but I should get 10 out of him. He's 23, so I try to use, or I tend to move on from offensive linemen right around the time that they reach 30, unless their bars just hold like my left tackle has so far.
Ooh, I don't know. I like that offensive line cohesion though.
Yeah.
I usually don't like draft a player and start them in their first season on
Right,
offensive line. So what I'll do is I'll draft a player and I'll find games where I feel like I'm playing, a weaker opponent, and I'll get starts so that I can start building the cohesion so that I don't lose as much when I switch to them in the next season.
Right. Okay. But yeah,
he's gonna give up some sacks in the first year, isn't he?
Yes, he
But
is.
in the medium term, it's going to be to your net advantage to have this guy ready as soon as possible.
Yep. And unfortunately, I don't think I have a mentor for guards, so that's unfortunate.
I don't think rookie guards screw things up as much as rookie centers. I don't know why, but it seems that way.
Yeah, it's just because of how much green there is on that pass blocking bar. So the engine is just going to give him the sacks whether it's his fault or not. Basically, that's what I
True.
was thinking.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, and maybe those combines are not like absolutely elite, right? So in that first year, the way the players play in the first year, it definitely the combines have a lot of input to that, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Though I will say I was happy at that his development percentage bumped up too, because I saw him originally at 24% developed, and he jumped up to 40.
Yeah. You reckon he can hit 65 by the end of the year if you start him every game?
Yeah. I think he'll hit like 65 to 70-ish max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think 70 sounds a bit ambitious, but
It is.
65
It's
may be in range.
70 is in the realm of possibility, but it's gonna take a very lucky dice roll.
With a mentor, yeah.
I think he'll hit 70.
I'm not positive. Like I know it's in the realm of possibility, but I'm banking more on him gaining about 25% percentage over the season?
By the end of the year?
Yeah, by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, no, probably not.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like I said, it would be a very lucky dice roll. It is in the realm of possibility, but it's most likely not going to happen. He'll
I
probably
love
sit
these
at 65.
I like these types of guards. I drafted one in CFL in the first round. I like these guys.
Hmm
Yeah.
I know he's a little on the small end for you, though.
He is. He's too short, but yeah, he's good. Leave that out of it. He's good.
Nice pick, man. You won't
Thank
have
you.
any issues with this guy, I'm sure.
Nope. Very happy with the pick.
Okay, so just after this one, this next guy is an intriguing one because he's another one of these. His bench is really low. His agility was pretty damn good. His solid was fine. He's a zero courage bar wide receiver who has gone to a team that plays basically all pass. So I'm very curious to see
Nah,
what do they think.
I don't like
What do
these
they
guys.
what do they think this guy is going to be good for?
You can take these guys in the third round or whatever, but this is not you can't take guys like this in the first round.
Yeah. I think this was like he looked at the bar profile and outside of the courage, you like what you see for the bar profile.
Yeah,
He
it's
he
all right.
didn't end up getting to the bar profile. But to your point of you can't take these guys in the first round. He is a wide receiver, which, as we know, in almost any league out there are going to be overvalued, and you're going to get reaches in the first round every draft. So
It shouldn't be to this. I don't know. This level.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't reach on this guy in the first round. But there are GMs out there who do it consistently every year. So like
No, man.
I always expect to see one guy like this go in the first round where it's like I don't know about that.
Yeah,
But
but
because he is a wide,
Yeah,
it's
much
it's
better.
bound to happen.
This is
well, the thing that gets me curious about this guy is that he's gone to a team that plays all pass, right? And you don't play all pass and be good at it unless you know something about how to pick wide receivers, do you? That's, I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not
we've seen Road dominate the league with like 30 overall wide receivers getting
Yeah.
but that's
80
because
plus
he,
targets.
That's
but
why
that's
I don't
because
think that's why I don't agree with the premium thing.
but that's because he really understands how to make the bars match to the plays, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
and that's why I'm looking at this guy going, okay, now I'm gonna look and see.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch what he's
can
gonna
you
do.
with a zero courage wide receiver? Because yeah, he's just on a team that is good, right? So they
Mhm.
must know how to use a guy like this.
Yeah, I take it like I look at this as somebody who I'm gonna watch how he's utilizing them so I can learn from it.
You got any thoughts on this guy, Tom?
Tom's muted.
I think he's away.
He's
Could be.
unmuted.
Maybe he's melted. Okay,
Sitting
but
somewhere without AC, it's very possible.
yeah. But we'll see. I mean, this guy has got the same flaws as the one we talked about earlier, right? The Andre Horn, or that I talked about saying I didn't like him for the zero courage. I don't like this guy for the same reason, but I have more. I suspect that he will be somehow productive, and I'm curious how, basically.
Yeah, he's a little bit better than Horn as far as what you can use him for.
Yeah,
a
Horn
big
had the
play,
big
though.
play, didn't he?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have a big play guy.
Yeah, me too.
I love the getting downfield bar. So
Yeah, but Horn had that. He'll get that.
he did.
He did. This was Horn. He's a better guy.
Yeah.
He also doesn't have zero courage necessarily either. He's just got 2.
Yeah.
So Horn was better, but I mean they're picked 17 picks apart, right? So
I'm also looking at the route running. So this guy is going to be able to see more targets and be more effective.
I don't know. I don't think that 59 is going to be there.
No, we'll see.
he's a purple guy, isn't he? This one, Wrigley.
Purple, but he was bright green. He had a 33 soul.
Mm,
Yeah, we'll see. Next,
Horn had a 35.
Yeah. But didn't horns go into what was it? Is it adjustable?
Yeah, looks like it might have.
A little bit.
I like Horn better. I think I like him a lot better even.
but I like him a lot better, apart from the fact that I don't really like him that much.
Yeah, right. Right.
So quite relative.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at the next guy. I'm moving through these relatively quickly because it's getting kind of late for me. But
Sure.
Vegas, he's a chemistry guy.
Yep, which is why he took him.
Looks like he basically kind of held up by the league scout at least.
Does chemistry really justify a guy like this?
I don't know.
I don't know. Vegas has made it work with the chemistry, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see how Carlisle pans out, and how he plans on utilizing him.
Let me try and I'll just find him in Draft Analyzer
But
just so we can see what my scouts thought he looked like.
but Vegas is definitely a slave to the chemistry. He tends to, in my personal opinion, go a little overboard in finding a match of chemistry versus maybe he should, look at
Yeah.
players who are not going to be a negative in chemistry but have, a better impact.
Yeah, I this is a game about talent at the end. I think. I don't know.
Like I said, he's won a couple of bowls off chemistry.
Yeah.
He's also had talent on his teams, but he
Exactly.
really he goes really hard into the chemistry and it's worked for him.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, he's not a bust. He's not horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his breakaway speed is good.
I think he's a 55 or so guy.
Is anyone going to speak up for 100 third down running? Does that help?
That's a bar I do not understand because it never
Well,
works.
it's a bar
Me
that
either.
like it's great when you can get in those scenarios where you're actually utilizing it.
It
But
doesn't work
with how the game treats third down running, it's just such a minor impact at the end of the day because the scenarios to actually utilize your third down running back are not what you would expect them to be.
Yeah.
Aren't you just better off having an 80-hole recognition guy and
Yeah,
don't worry about
exactly.
it?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's there, it's great, but it's incidental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that he was probably expecting the whole rec to be a bit higher than what it's showing right now, given that he had, a 30 for soul, and the bar showed, that it was going to be above 50.
Yeah. It looked like it could come out, but I mean, yeah. Okay, so we could see a Solasismic at least, right? Because he was also a no combine guy as well.
Yep.
The bar shows it, or the whole recognition shows is almost fully developed, so there might be
Yeah,
mileage there.
I'm thinking that you can probably safely expect that whole rec's going to go up a bit more
Yeah.
than what it's at right now.
Yeah.
If some of these creep up a little bit, then it starts to look a lot more obvious, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah,
just plug him in. He's good to go.
Yep. Yeah, I think if he can, gain like 10 points in that whole rec, which might not be a full 10, but even if he gets it up to like, 57, 58, like I think the pick turns out a bit better than what it looks right now.
Yeah, he's got quite good size.
57, 58 is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like
no.
if it creeps up there, like the pick instantly becomes a lot better than what it looks right now.
Yeah.
He's not an elite receiver, but it's useful enough to have around 50 route running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can be in some secondary routes.
Yeah. I kind of like him.
Yeah, I think it's an all right pick, and if that whole rec goes up, which I'm expecting it to, turns into a good pick.
Yep.
I don't like it as much as you guys. Not because I don't like the player. I just don't know why that's the best pick in this spot here.
Yeah, I mean, again,
I
if
mean,
there was no other chemistry fit, then maybe he was just literally the best guy to take.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I know that he had contacted me. I love Rhodes' comment there. But he had contacted me thinking that State College might take this player and was looking to trade up to my pick, and I talked him out of it because I'm like, State College is going to pick a wide receiver. They're a pass first team.
Mm.
I've
Little bit of insider
even
gossip.
mocked running backs that I thought State College would take because they had high route running bars, and he never takes them. I'm like, he's not taking a running back in the first round. You're safe.
I just think
Turned out to be the case.
Can you guys hear
Hey,
me
so
now?
yeah, we can hear you.
I was talking before. There was something wrong with my interface, my audio interface. But I think
We got
like,
you.
for me, when I look at bar thresholds that I want to see, a lot of the time it's like, oh, a minimum of 50 in this particular bar that's relevant to this position. But actually, for whole recognition, it's higher for me, and that's not just because I'm a run first team, but I do think that like there is a big difference between like a 75 and a 50 in whole recognition, even if they have got other bars and stuff. I just think a 50 whole rec guy, I don't know if I could ever see him. I don't know. I don't feel like that's enough for me to be someone who I'm going to give carries to, you know. But I'm sure other people have made it work, you know.
I'm not a run first guy, and I had great success with a 58 hole recognition guy. I don't know why exactly, so I'm not sure.
But
It's
also,
kind of complex interplay of factors, right? Because I don't know, like the O-line cohesion matters a lot, and I think even the what down and distance you're on when you run, that probably matters quite a lot as well, I think.
And just your overall run blocking score for your line.
Yeah, sure.
I
And
think
then
I
of
had
course
400.
yeah.
I think I had 400 on that line, so
That would
yeah.
explain some of it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not every year, but yeah, a couple years.
We've seen Ryland do that at times in this league, haven't we? Just have like monster run blocking and then have these like 20 rated running backs that have got one bar just go,
Yeah.
1,700 yards on the season or whatever. Okay, but Tom, you're here. So or your tech issues are resolved and we're on your pick, I think, next, aren't we?
Yep.
Or should I say my pick? Because this is where I started looking at the draft. I suddenly realized it was going faster than I expected. I started to pay attention at this point, and this guy was top of my list.
Yeah, he was on my short list too when I was looking to pick, but I felt it was a little greedy given my current tight end to take another tight end like this. But I love this pick. He's got getting downfield, boy drops, route running, and he's got enough big play. He's got near max courage as well. He'll be all right in blocking. Not
For
great, but
41 big play is fine for a tight end.
yeah.
Why? Who cares about pass blocking for tight? I don't care about it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like he'll be all right in blocking because
Run
you're
blocking is what I
expecting
care
him to
about.
run block.
Yeah.
So like I love this bar profile for a tight end. I think you got a really good player, and he's 20 years old. 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have this guy for the next 12 years.
But hopefully.
He's pretty well developed too.
Yeah. 51% at 20 years old. Like
Good God, man! It's like these guys are cheap player.
I mean, he's one of those guys where I don't feel like I draft offensive skill position very often in the first round, and that's mainly because I don't like to reach for guys, and I'm not going to be drafting wide receivers. I get them elsewhere. But for me, a tight end is a really versatile thing because obviously we run a lot and we need to not give up penalties when we're running and stuff. So for him to have run blocking and intelligence is important.
Yeah.
He's then got
Mhm.
getting downfield and courage and route running. It was just like a perfect storm. And he can play special teams. He can do sort of everything. And
Yep.
then, like you said, he's young. He's got good size at 6'4", 260. I mean, I sort of couldn't really believe my luck when he was still there. Although it was between him and a safety. I was looking at the safety that Boots ended up taking a few picks later because that was a position of need for us as well. But like I say, just to be able to pick a player there in there who can impact the pass and the run game, I had to take it. So I'm really pleased with him.
Did you
Yeah.
interview this
Oh,
guy?
yeah.
No, I don't really interview people, so I didn't interview him because I never know who's going to be there. You know, I find it really hard to predict the board of who's going to be there, and I'm not really someone who trades up, but. He was good. He was a good
I
pick
think
for
it's
me.
interesting, Southie, that this whole interviewing thing, because I think if you have like accurate scouting, interviewing is like just as much of a hindrance, basically.
Oh
What
yeah.
happens if your scout
Yeah.
says he looks brilliant and then your interview says he's very overrated? I mean,
Yeah.
now what you gonna do?
Well, I've found this out from the past. What you do is you say, I don't care about the impression that comes back. I'm still going to take the guy.
Yeah, but then don't bother interviewing at all, basically, right?
Well, it helps to narrow the bar profile.
If you have a
and
guy with 100 interviewing, that doesn't mean anything though.
no,
The-
I think it means more to you.
It means a lot to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I try to max out the interviewing and minimize the scouting to some degree. I don't completely minimize the scouting for unusual reasons, but yeah.
I thought the interviewing is just the bar width, though, isn't it? I don't know how much it with the actual interview stuff. I mean, I never knew what to make of it.
I think it has the impression is part of it, I think.
it
Yeah.
is, but you can the impression's not always going to be right. And
No.
so what I do is after you interview, look at the bar profile. That's the most important part to see. And then, if you're in a tie between two players, then you look at the impression, but I don't look at the impression as like a make or break thing to take a prospect anymore because I've been burned on it a couple of times of where I've gotten a bad impression back from the interview and the players turned out to be phenomenal. So, it's like take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I've noticed you get VO is often swapped for VU. But O and U are not really swapped for anything. So you might get a VU on a VO guy or a VO on a VU guy.
Yep.
But
And
you're not
and
gonna
that's
get
definitely what I got was
Yeah.
a VO on a VU guy.
Yeah.
And
So just look
Yeah.
you gotta look at it a little closer after you get either one.
Yep.
But yeah, you do get them swapped on those once in a while. I don't really get them swapped too often, but it does happen once in a while.
hmm
But yeah, I didn't
It-
need
it-
to see this guy under
No,
an interview. I thought he was the guy for me.
Based off of just base scouting, like you could tell this was going to be a great tight end. I was surprised that he was still available in the 20s, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, tight ends usually go pretty early or start to go.
I mean, especially in a draft where, we've talked about the lack of overall talent
Yeah.
in the skill positions. I would treat a tight end as a skill position player at that point.
I mean, outside of the top two quarterbacks, this guy's the best defensive player, isn't he? That we've seen so far.
For skill position, yeah.
Yeah, it might be. No. I
And
mean,
maybe
are
you
you
could
gonna
make
count
a
your
case.
Well,
guard?
I get
Guard.
it's either him or Slayton.
Yeah, I was going to say that receiver at number 3 is probably.
Yeah.
But then at number
Yeah,
3, you'd hope to get a guy like that. At number
Yes.
25, this felt like a coup for me to be able to get someone
Yes.
of this
Yep.
talent level.
Let me get Slayton up again. Yeah, I don't see him much different in terms of, production.
Yeah, and we throw to the tight end. We do have targets going to the tight end quite a lot, so he'll be useful for me, man. He'll be good, and
Mhm.
hopefully he does last. He lasts a long time, and hopefully he kills it over the middle. If 93 courage is what it actually ends
But
up being.
he
Yep.
is gonna.
Well, I mean, you're already seeing a baseline of 71, even if that courage
Yeah.
never develops past that, like you're already set.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, what could have been? What could have been? I mean, he could have been a stampeder, apart from the fact he probably would have gone to Pittsburgh or Vancouver maybe even before I had a chance. So
Yeah, I don't think you would have seen him.
no. At least he went to the other conference. Um, yeah. Next, Pittsburgh. They drafted a lot of defensive players recently,
Hmm.
so this is a bit of variance from them. He's the third wide receiver in the first round with 6 bench. He does
Yep.
have a little bit of courage, though. Not a lot, but he's got a bit. It's not going to be a surprise for anyone if I say I don't like him that much because he hasn't got enough courage, and therefore you have to be really meticulous in designing his plays and so on and so forth. But on the other hand, he has got some things going. His endurance is maybe a bit low as well.
I like that he returns kicks though. That's a little bit of added value there at the
It
end.
is, but with the low endurance, that's going to limit his ability to
Yeah,
contribute on offense.
that's
But
true.
he's
Yeah.
going to be a good kick returner.
If you
Yeah,
could
that's
choose
true.
punt returner or kick returner, which one would you choose?
Both.
Oh,
I would choose
You
punt.
can't choose punt. You have to choose one or the other.
No, both.
Punt.
I think I would go punt as well.
Yes, I would say punt as well.
I actually kind of like this pick.
I like this guy. I mean, obviously you'd want more courage, but I think he is a usable player. And uh, we're getting to the near the end of the first round. I think there's value here. I think there was decent value here when he took him. This was
This
another
was
player that I was on my short list of players that I was looking at
I
pick
think this
22.
guy's going to be better than 52 a lot. I think he's going to be quite a bit better.
You think he's going to be better than the guy that State College took? With very similar profiles.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think he's going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. And that's without the kick returning factoring in.
I think he'll be a better receiver. Yeah. I mean, endurance. I guess you want to talk about endurance. So
Yeah, that endurance is scary because you're going to use him as a kick returner. So it's going to potentially limit that offensive
He
potential,
can't
but
start in the 3 most common formations, can he?
no, he's going to be a player who you're going to have to, swap in some other wide receivers, and you're just going to have to try and find a way to get him targets in the formations that you run the most.
Yeah. That's the thing with these
you
guys
gotta
we've
love
seen.
it.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, like all of these guys, really, maybe not just State College ones quite so much, but I mean, they've got so much going for them, and then that bench just kind of kills them. So that's my take on it.
We have robotic boots.
I was going to say, was that just
Yeah.
my headphones? Or what?
Nice.
I know you're back.
Yeah,
now.
you're-
You're back now.
It's
Yeah,
because
you're fine now.
it's because it's after midnight, so turned into an Android. Yeah, no, I was just saying that like all these receivers or the 3 guys at the really low bench, they've got so much going for them, right?
Mhm.
Except the courage bar, right? If they
Yep.
had 20 more courage, they'd all be first round worthy guys for me easily.
Not only that, they'd be like top half of the first round.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what situation Pittsburgh is in with the in terms of receivers, so this guy might also be the best one that they've
I
got at the moment.
believe they've had a changing of the guard at their wide receiver position of late.
Have they?
He's got some decent ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
In fact, all of his
but
receivers are
they're
pretty
getting
good.
old. Like Mathers is 32.
Yeah, he's got a couple of guys in their 11th season.
Tevin Lester is
Oh, that's
suspended
right.
and 34. So
Is he
he's
suspended or
looking
holding
to.
out?
Oh yeah. Oh, holding out. Sorry, holding out. So yeah, Lester's holding out at 34 years old.
Yeah.
So he needed to probably start looking at getting some younger wide receivers in, and he's done a good job so far. Like he's got three
Yep.
guys who are at or around 50 potential, who are all very young. So he's doing a good job of keeping that wide receiver talent stocked.
Tevin Lester is like a non-licensed NFL rip-off of Devin Hester. I can't help but think like that name is just,
Tevin
isn't it?
List.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sure I've heard of Tevin Lester before, but it's not.
He's
It's
got
just
the
Tevin.
he's got the punt return bar.
Yeah, exactly, and he returns kicks as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we will see. He's going to form part of the new generation of wide receivers up in Pittsburgh, and
Oh.
when he's on the field, he'll be pretty good, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would rather have taken this guy, and
Yep.
this guy was the
Awesome.
second. This was the guy who was second on my list after Gupta.
Yep. This was a great pick. Like I said, he was the other one on my short list, so it was Angelo, Gupta, Schultz, and then I was looking at Inslee, but I liked Schultz a lot better. I wanted to get an interview on this guy specifically because he didn't have a combine,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
why I didn't take him because I was scared. But he turned out great. Like
This is
a great
wild.
wide receiver.
Look at this. 30. Look at his intelligence for that birthday group.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yep.
What is he? Purple. Is he a purple group? Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Aries.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen someone.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yep.
Who's
Yeah, I really like this pick a lot. I was talking to Rylan when he made it. I told him.
Yeah, and I know you were
Did the
looking
right
at
thing.
some wide receivers.
That's a hell of a dice roll to get with the high solecismic, but then the low intelligence and the super high route running in that soul
Yep.
group, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like you needed all the stars to align for that to work out like that. Because I don't think I've ever seen anyone with in a purple group with low intelligence before.
It happens. It's out
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen it.
there.
Yeah. But this guy looks, of all the receivers, he looks. I'd be happiest with this guy, I think.
Yeah, I think this guy turned into the number 2 wide receiver of the class.
Yeah. After the guy at 1-3, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Ryland's pretty good at picking wide receivers, I've noticed recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was always the case or whether he is.
I don't think you've
learned
seen. I don't think
something
you've seen his
significant.
TFL wide receiver group. Like he can pick wide receivers.
He's not a
He
wide
at one point had
receiver,
like
though.
370 overall plus wide receivers on his roster in TFL.
Oh, the TFL, yeah. RZB,
Yeah.
he has none, and it seems to make a difference.
Well,
Yeah.
is he doing run heavy in RZB?
Yeah, but he throws well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's very efficient with his passing game.
Good pick, and yeah, like I say, could have been a Stampeder, but was never going to get there. So I put it out of my mind. Next guy died, didn't he?
He did.
That's rough.
Another no combine guy.
There's quite a few of those guys this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And quite a few of them going in the first round, which at least at a rate that is higher than normal.
Yeah.
What did League Scout think? 20 points down, basically.
That's rough.
But I think even before PS2, I think he didn't look very good to my scout.
Yeah.
I hope he had an interview on this guy and got misled. That's the only thing I can say.
And with that intelligence, you can't even really use him on special teams.
Just cut him and get it over with.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just take,
That's what I would do. Just
take your medicine.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's a 16 million
I think
hit, you know.
I wouldn't cut him just because hold on to him for a season and see if he goes up again a bit next year. You know, that kind of thing, right?
I would wait until PS2 of next year, and if he doesn't go up, then
Yeah.
cut ties.
Get him off
Yeah.
the books.
Because I mean, you know, he does have a very high volatility. There's a chance. Just saying.
Yeah.
It may
I
be,
mean,
you know, blind hope, but there's hope.
yeah. I got to be honest. I was thinking about this guy if he had fallen to 129. But that would really have been driven by kind of, you know, picking for need rather than picking who I thought was the best player, right? I'm glad I didn't have to make the decision and it got taken out of my hands.
I like that other defensive tackle that went in the second a lot better. And I keep forgetting his name, but
Let's have a quick look at him.
Is he
Cuevas,
tackle
right?
or
This
is
guy. Oh, he's gone to another team in my division.
he went to a computer team.
Yeah, he went to AI.
Cuevas, yeah.
Yeah, he's up on the screen now. I don't, but his endurance is 0.
I know that was why I chose a wide receiver over him, but I really did like him.
I mean, those defensive tackles, man, if they got 0 endurance, they can't. I mean, they have to be off the field so much, don't they?
Yeah.
That's nasty. Okay, but I mean, this guy right now, he's unusable, isn't he? So praying for a
Yep.
miracle.
Yep.
So I got this guy instead.
What a pick.
I love
Yep.
this guy.
Move him to corner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why is he still at safety? He should be a corner by now.
He doesn't have to like
Be-
for DBs. You don't really have to change their position. You can just play them at whatever position you want.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's going to play corner, and because they don't have that position specific experience, I think it doesn't matter, and I think he will be cheaper. That's why I've moved him.
He'll be the best corner in the draft.
That 100
It could be, couldn't he?
interception bar is
Yep.
just that's the stuff of dreams, really. That's what you want from your DBs, you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
that
I've
is.
gone from the ridiculous to the sublime in the secondary because 2 seasons ago I basically had nothing except whatever odd bits and I mean literally undrafted guys playing outside corner, and now I've got 2 extremely good outside cornerback guys, both of
Yeah.
whom started life as safeties. And don't get me wrong, I would rather have taken 2 amazingly good defensive ends instead. But like I said earlier, when you're drafting 129, you've got to take what you can get, basically.
Yeah,
so
it's really
my
tough to
team's
get an elite. I was gonna say it's really tough to get like a good defensive end. You know, once you're picking in the back half of the round.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna reconfigure, and I'm gonna have good secondary play.
The way people look at wide receiver is the way I look at defensive end.
Right. The other thing that's a bit strange, I mean, I play loads of press, and then I've gone and drafted 2 guys who are elite man corners. So I might need to think about that a little bit as well.
This guy will have press.
This guy's gonna be fine in press though.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Anyway, you know, it's like what's it called? One of those nice to have problems or whatever, I
Oh
suppose.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just think that interception bar can be so valuable, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, of course, that's the main thing I was looking at when I drafted this guy was that was just looked like it was going to be mad, and I think he had potentially a maximum static bar as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the case. Again,
yeah.
Did you have
given my?
I don't think I had a max. I didn't have a max. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, again, my scout, right? Not at all.
Yeah, but mine's worse than yours.
Yeah, I had him I saw him as potentially max too.
Yeah, I had him as
And I have
Ronnie
a
Heath. I
decent
mean,
defensive
yeah.
scout.
At least I'd say a static bar that was above what it was expected to be based on his combine, which is
My God.
always nice.
You know what I
I,
love?
You're looking at those, the width of those bar
yeah,
drawers.
I'm just like, oh, you know, coin flip. It's just coin flip. You never know. We're showing you 50, you know.
Yeah,
You know what I loved about this
yeah.
guy? 16% developed. I like that.
Yeah, right. And he had a low developed and a pretty high bureau grade as well. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
loads of little
Mhm.
signs that this guy
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he's going to be an outside corner, but he'll just stay at safety for now, and I'll hope to save myself a bit of money when he comes to renew his contract.
Yeah, he's intelligent and he's got like just enough endurance to get around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish
Oh
you were,
yeah,
I wish you were a little dumber, actually. That's the only thing I wish.
and had a little bit more play diagnosis.
Yeah. Because you stack the play diagnostic with interceptions. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing I like about him is the dumb. I don't even care about zone.
No, well, you know what I really need? I really need a safety. So that's why I keep drafting these safeties who
And a
look
corner.
who are cornerbacks. Yeah, next up we had Roach. And yeah,
The best player in the draft.
This guy's crazy. Yeah.
kinda,
Passing buff.
right? Or just is, maybe, yeah.
I mean, the generational center right here.
Yeah.
You'd wish for a little more endurance, but I mean,
An impact
He's-
player.
he's got it. Yeah. This is like the prospect where you're like, man, I wish he goes to a running team because he should make the Hall of Fame with that bar profile.
Well, who knows what the future is for this team, right? Because
Yep,
now Road
we
is
don't
stepping
know.
down.
Does endurance matter for offensive linemen? The age-old question.
Oh yes, I mean it does.
I think it does, but
Like
it would not dissuade me at all from taking this guy.
Exactly. Like you know, I see a bar profile like this, I'm like, you know what? He's just gonna play tired sometimes.
Sure.
I'm just gonna live with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even
Yep.
if he's tired, he's playing at a certain percentage of these bars is still likely to be much better than average.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's so tired he's only playing at 80% efficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, never mind.
Oh wait, that's still near elite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's great, and he's another high intelligence player. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
No
value.
combine again.
Do
Yep.
people think it doesn't matter because the offensive linemen don't come off the field?
I think there's not really known what the effect of playing a tired lineman is. Is it, are they playing at a certain percentage of what their ratings are, or are they more likely to get injured?
Yeah.
You know, so like because it's not really known, people kind of look at it as like, oh, maybe I need it, maybe I don't.
Well, it's one of the only positions that doesn't actually sub in when a guy is tired.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that had something to do with
Could be.
Does it not?
No,
say-
don't move him to guard, Road. Just leave him.
Yeah, no, he's
He's
perfect
too-
at
he's too-
center.
Isn't he a bit small to move to guard? Nah.
I think he is, but just leave him.
He's perfect just
Yeah.
the way he is, I think.
Should have moved him to
Use your traded center at guard. He's typing in the chat. I don't know if you guys can see.
Yeah, I don't know if they can,
I can
but
see it. Okay, he just traded for a center.
Yeah.
Let's check out the other guy.
Just move the other guy. Who cares about the other guy?
Well, there's loads of centers on this roster. I assume this one, Sweeney.
Yeah, play him at
Oh,
guard.
yeah.
280 pounds.
Ah,
But What the
Switch
hell?
him to tight. Switch him to
6
tight
foot.
end.
Yeah. I'd play him at guard.
Yeah, I can see the logic if Road was thinking of reconfiguring his team to be like run first or run heavy or whatever. Then this guy would make more sense to switch to center. But anyway, we'll see. He's gonna play center for now, I guess.
Yeah, maybe you just play him out of position if you're gonna play him at guard.
Yeah, he's got some experience on both sides guard as well already.
Hmm.
How old is he? 22. Yeah. Nice. Well, what could have been? Last two picks. Las Vegas takes a not chemistry fit cornerback.
I was going to say this isn't even a chemistry guy.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Me too.
League Scout says he dropped a bit, but not madly.
This is not a first round pick. It's another guy.
I would agree with that. I don't get this pick.
No. It's an odd one.
I mean, he looked like
Again, at risk of learning nothing much. Go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, to my draft analyzer, he looked to have potentially to have a man-to-man bar that might have been, 60 something maybe, which might have redeemed him. But
with a 4.46, I guess so.
Oh yeah. Even my stupid scout saw something going on there. Oh, max static maybe?
I'm saying this is not a first round pick after, and I don't even believe in grading players by round, but because a good player is a good player, but I don't know. This guy's just not.
Oh, but I mean, my scout has his flaws, right? But
I want to see more bump from a corner, even with the man.
I think you could maybe redeem him as a free safety in the future if he
Yeah.
gets to that 57 zone or whatever.
With good interceptions and play diagnosis, definitely.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be able to play.
He'll make the team, but I don't know what it'll be.
He's out for 5 weeks with a bruised sternum. I assume that was the
I would IR this guy. This
the
is
head coach punched him after PS2.
Yeah, you'd have to. I don't know. You'd be disappointed, I think, if you. I mean, I don't know what the draft strategy is when he's not considering a chemistry player. But I think if you took a guy and then he dropped 20 points and he's not a chemistry fit, there's got to be a little bit of buyer's remorse there, I think. Because if you're going to go outside your chemistry scheme that you're pretty strict about, you'd want it to be for a guy that has talent there.
Yeah, or more talented player than what we're looking at here.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know is how do you go from one mind to a second mind when he's going from the chemistry mind to a different mind. I don't know how you can draft that way. For me, I don't know.
I'm the same.
I mean,
I don't consider chemistry.
He obviously thought he was going to be better, didn't he?
And if you're a chemistry guy, you're always going to have to go between two minds. How do you do it? Yeah.
I do think there is the point of, if that zone does reach maximum, that's a starting quality-ish free safety.
I think that's where his future is, yeah. If he's going to stay on the roster past his rookie contract, it'd be a free safety, in my opinion.
Yeah, or you can play cornerback if you're playing like cover 3, can't you? When your corners are in zone, maybe as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does have that intriguing play diagnostic and interceptions, both pretty good, right?
Yeah. That's where he's going to make his money, I think, if he can make the most of that interception bar because of that play diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, again, if I have a look here, I saw him as maybe a max static bar, really high play diagnostic, maybe max interceptions, man-to-man high. I can see why you get tempted with a guy like this.
Yeah, like if you look at the bar profile that Draft Analyzer had, and I'm looking at one that's narrowed down a bit more than yours is. This is a disappointment because he came
shape,
in.
right?
Yeah, he came in at the low end of pretty much every bar.
Yeah.
Or below what I was even seeing. So
yeah,
I get like when he's looking at this prospect in Draft Analyzer why he liked him.
Yeah,
it
me too.
Didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
But I also think with his combine of there were at least signs that this could potentially happen, that he wasn't going to reach those bars.
That he might be kind of average. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Last pick.
Last pick of the first part of the Great Murfreesboro offensive line remake.
Mm-hmm.
You took a bunch of linemen as we go through the draft, all of them good. And this was the
he's a
first
good
one.
player. I mean, he's low intelligence, but he has talent, so that kind of makes up for it somewhat.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player.
I mean, it's low, but it's not so low where it's like you're afraid this guy's gonna give up like 15, 20 penalties in a season.
Yeah. And you can hide low intelligence offensive linemen on more intelligent lines.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, if you have like one, maybe two, or a little lower, you're fine. Once you get to like 3 or 4, you're in for a bad time.
Yeah. So I think that's a good pick at 132.
Mm-hmm.
League Card season coming up a little bit.
This pick should have gone in the top 5.
I mean, so many hot takes tonight. This guy should have crept into the top 5.
But he's
why didn't you say that about my guard?
I mean, both of those guards could have gone in the top 5. He would have been better than the defensive end. He would have been better than the corner. And
raw talent wise, yeah, definitely.
But if you made this pick in the top 5, I think it would be fine. Nobody would have a problem with it.
I think in comparison to some of the picks that ended up being made, yeah.
Yeah, it seems very interesting. Like another thing that we probably aren't going to be able to really go over, but in the mid rounds, like 2, 3, 4, there was a lot of talent that went. And so it's really kind of weird to see, in the picks like 4 through about 20-ish, that there were some players who really didn't turn out or pan out well when you had a lot of other talent out there. So it's kind of, curious to something that we'll never know is what the mindset was of the GMs who were drafting those players who didn't necessarily turn out.
So there's
a lot of talent.
I got a question for you, Southie, with your hot takes.
No, I'm serious.
Should this guy have got taken in the top 5?
No, I actually believe you should never draft a punter or a kicker. You should just strike out on somebody. No.
But he's a god amongst men.
No, I don't agree with it. Even
the man with the golden leg.
Yeah, I have no idea if this guy's going to turn out to be worth it or not, but I'll have some fun finding out at least.
A third's too rich for my blood on a punter.
I love special teams, but you can find them in UDFA.
You could talk me into like a 5th round pick for this guy, but I really would not take a punter or kicker before the 5th round, and I would have to be desperate to take him in the 5th.
I was kind of desperate, but not for the reasons you might think. I was desperate because the weather was nice and I didn't want to sit around doing a draft. So I just went, okay, I'll take that guy.
Hey, I will say, Ryland said he liked this punter. I don't know if he liked him at where you took him, but
yeah,
it's not unheard of in the NFL.
No, I've seen kickers and punters go in the 3rd round before.
I mean, I would never do it. It's not even unheard of, but yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Do you want to?
Well, he's the last good player that I took, so I have to enjoy what I got.
I know it's getting late for you, Boots. Do you want to just look at a couple of the late round guys? I can tell you the
sure, man.
pick,
so we're going round 4.
Yeah, round 4 and 5, man. That seems to be like, and this is something that I think Tucson you were sort of touching on earlier, is like seeing some of these talents in the later rounds that ended up being good kind of makes the ones that in the first round didn't work out. It makes that almost feel a bit worse because it's like
Yeah.
this talent
Kyle
was.
Kyle Henry,
Yeah, I mean he looks great.
66
Yeah,
rated
this is not
running
a
back.
shock. This is not a shock though.
Look at the
He
talent.
had max static. Look at those statics relative to the combines.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is not a shock. Yeah,
maybe not a shock, but it's more wondering why the hell was the player still there?
yeah. It's just our own.
And there were other running backs who went. I know
Yeah.
this one particularly is a sore thorn in Ryland's side because he took another
The
running
guy I
back
took.
and he was looking at this guy.
Yeah. So there
And
he
The
is.
guy I took is even worse.
Yes, he was max static bars. He was on my
Yeah.
list for sure.
This was
Mhm.
this was just GM stupidity, and then my
That's-
stupidity, and
That's a lot
So
of
why
GM stupidity though, all the way to the fourth round. That's think of how many other
why
guys went before that.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what bothered me about this guy was and it was really transparent. Because the third down was very low, is the broad jumping so low. I thought the endurance was jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that that's what threw me off here. And
Turned out it wasn't so far.
no, it was pretty transparent that the third down was zeroed out and the endurance was pretty good.
I mean, the value there, just in terms of the talent that he's picked at that spot, is ridiculous. That's a top
Mhm.
10 player, if not top 5 player in terms
Oh God, yeah.
of talent.
Yeah. And he's a really
yeah.
good pass catcher as well.
Yeah,
Running back's
And
a wild position. I think it's kind of I think it's a pretty wild position to try to
yeah, I
draft.
agree. Yeah, I'm the same. I never feel comfortable trying to figure out if I know what I'm doing when I'm taking a running back.
It's just so many bars at play.
Yeah.
So many things going on. Yeah.
who else you got for us here then, Tom?
There was another one, round 4, pick 6 is that linebacker that went.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, this guy.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
I like this guy. I did not like him this much.
No. This.
I had this guy,
Hmm.
but I did not think he would be like this.
Dean Harnick. Let's see what my
If I remember correctly, I
dubious
went and looked at
scouting.
I went and looked at him in Draft Analyzer, and I mean he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he
But
was
he
high
at
on my
least looked
draft
like he was
analyzer.
a second round player, and he was somehow still there in the fourth.
Yeah,
I didn't quite have him as a second round player, I'll admit.
my draft analyzer had him as the 18th player in the draft.
Wow.
Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah.
that high for me, but he was in a second round, like where I'd put second round players. So
Kind of interesting because the agility was middling. You're looking at run stopping for these kinds of guys. So
mhm. And obviously
Yep.
at the end of the day that didn't matter at all
um,
because near max run D.
see, let me put
But
my.
he could have had 45, couldn't he? With that
Oh yeah,
agility
I
Oh
would
yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
thought that was in the within the realm, but I had him as hold on, let me paste my scouts video. I did have him at about this value, so
Even with the near max play diagnosis, he's got the average intelligence.
see, my scout actually is a genius because he knew he said why the dumb scouts are genius because he saw the static bar was ahead of all the other bars.
See, and it's like that 56% developed, I think, was probably something that was stopping me from picking him earlier because it's like,
Yeah, me
I
too.
think
Yeah,
do I think he's
Yeah.
good because he's just highly developed? And it
Yeah.
wasn't that. He actually is good.
Yep,
Yeah.
same deal.
So he's an interesting player. And fortune favors the brave. You know how he took him, and he's for his reward. He's got an 80 rated linebacker in the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
There was a few more. Boston had another one in the 5th round.
Yep. Yep, they
Pick
did.
number 5. This is a
Yep.
strong safety.
This is
No,
ridiculous.
this guy was on
This
my
was
list as
another
well.
second. Yeah, this was like another second round talent that was available.
That's a corner.
Okay.
I don't care what you say.
Yeah, yeah. He's got corners.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, with this guy, I can sort of see why maybe he was a little lower. He doesn't have the interception bar. His intelligence is very low.
How did he?
but-
I didn't even look at this guy. You guys got. You
Yeah,
guys
I
got
had
me
it.
here.
I definitely had him on my list, which meant he had something about him.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys
he-
got me.
Here's somebody who I looked at. I didn't have like I just
Oh.
re-signed basically all my corners, so I wasn't
Yeah,
even
he had-
thinking
he
about
had-
picking a DB.
Okay, so he had an elite combine, and he had a minimum, maybe a 0 static bar.
Yeah.
5'5".
And some people don't like the really small guys. He's 5'9", which is like
That's
maybe small.
people like me.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. He's only 13% developed as a safety, which is that's incredible. Yeah.
He was another good find.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
There was a couple more. Still in round 5, pick 7
Yep.
in the 5th round. He's another guy worth mentioning that went to Houston.
Liam Benson.
Yeah, so
Corner.
I mean, it's a nice bar spread. You know, for a
Was he a safety though?
defensive back. I don't know.
He was a safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he changed position at least. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the last guy I've got is
His
London.
combine definitely looks like a safety combine with 20 bench as well.
Yeah.
And then London's 5th round pick. Yeah, is this a lineman?
No, it's number 8, 5th round, 8th.
The Cameron Downs.
Yeah, that's him.
The guard.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is what we're saying at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That
Car magic.
London knows what they're doing when it comes to drafting, apparently.
Yeah,
Yep.
look at that jump as well from 48 to 71 future. I mean,
This
Yeah,
guy
it's
wouldn't
crazy.
even showed up on me, so I'm gonna plead ignorance. But
it's just the extra
It's
value of intelligent
short.
linemen in the 5th round is,
Not
Oh,
not
God,
only
yeah. I mean-
that, but like
look
a
at this.
very good starting intelligent lineman.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. This is. See, if I had scouted this guy, well, whatever.
Oh, not this guy, not this one.
Cameron Downs, you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he still
Look
had
at this guy. Look at this
Carter.
guy as he appears to me. I would have taken this guy, but he's too shrimpy.
So this is what your scout does. He just totally
Yeah.
underestimates all the bars apart from the static bar. That's what all his scout reports seem to be like.
Yeah, and then when you see bars that low and combines that good, there's something going on.
Yeah. So did you say he wasn't even on your radar?
No, he's too shrimpy.
Right.
But he would have been.
Right.
I would have taken him in like the 3rd round.
Yeah. If he was like 4 inches taller and 30 pounds.
No,
lighter.
just 6'4". All he needed to be was 6'4".
Okay.
But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great pick. It's a
Yeah, I
great
think
pick.
those guys were the standout, best of the rest. Probably should have been taken in the top 15.
The running back is the one that's bothering me,
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good player.
but I don't understand running back.
I want to give a quick shout out to myself for my 3rd rounder, Tucker Doty.
Let's
Yes,
see.
you're right. You're right. He is good, isn't he?
Yes.
Is it the wide receiver?
Yep. 22.
Yeah, 22.
What'd you get? Was he 70?
Not
no,
70, but
86 round. I like that guy. I did like
yeah,
that guy.
you were
Didn't I
talking
say
to me.
something to
Yeah,
you?
yeah, you said something. I think you wanted to draft him. You were looking to trade for the pick, and I had already taken
And he's
him.
too small for me, but I was actually going to do it.
And I know.
Yeah,
I know
and
it
you're
went,
like, wait, did he come back very underrated? Did you interview him? And I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I knew he did. I didn't even interview him. But 19,
Yeah.
get out of here. Yeah.
He looks great, man. And another
Yeah, that was a great pick.
double return bar guy as well.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great
with
pick.
endurance to also still play offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And-
like this guy better than all of those 6 bench guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the way he's
Yeah,
worked
what a
out,
shock.
he looks amazing.
I don't like low big play guys, actually, but I like this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah, that is a
I,
great.
I was hoping he could sneak into the fourth or fifth.
No,
Yeah,
I
when
wasn't
you-
gonna let. I was looking at picking him in the second, and I didn't because I went with the guy who I knew his route running bar was gonna be high because I wanted to be able to do some
Yeah.
shenanigans with double coverage.
Yeah,
Um,
this
and
this guy
then
was
he was still there in the third, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
take him.
That 714 agility is magic, I swear to God. I've seen it a few times.
specifically that number.
Yes, I've seen it. It's
Mm.
strange.
Yeah,
There's some magic going on with that 714 agility.
this guy was on my shortlist as well for his
Yeah.
solar and also for his return skills.
hmm
So he could also have been a stampeder. Yeah, actually, you made me take a punter instead when you took this guy.
What's the highest you've ever seen on a wide receiver soul?
um,
Have you seen 50?
I don't think I've ever seen 50. I want to
I,
say it
I,
was
I
like,
was going to say 48.
yeah, I was gonna say like, I think I've seen 47 or 48 is the highest that I've seen for a wide receiver.
50 is impossible.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Tom could tell you.
Yeah, let me just. I'm just opening it. It's nearly crashing my computer though. I've got this giant
It's
CSV. with,
quite a big file, yes.
Yeah, 200 years of wide receivers. Well, not just wide receivers, but let me find them and see. But this isn't like, oh, I haven't seen these guys, but this is just what is possible to happen.
Talking of crashing your computer with CSV or whatever,
I don't think I've ever seen 50.
One time at work had an 18 gigabyte text file.
Insane. Right, what do we want to know? It was the soul score.
The
Yeah,
highest
soul
solar
score.
seismic that a wide receiver can get.
So the highest that's ever been, well, that's in this.
Yeah, that's in your massive sample set.
That's in this CSV, which has how many things are in here? This is like 750,000 wide receivers. The highest recorded was 45 soul score.
Wow.
And
Okay, there you go.
Wow. That's incredible.
I'll tell you how many actually had that.
Who cares? This guy's at 44. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
this guy is a top 0.00 something percent solar seismic, basically.
yeah, so like out of 770,000, only 16,000 have had a soul score of 44 or higher. So it's pretty rare.
Wow.
Very rare.
Just 2%, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Just take the guy and who cares what happens?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's 2%. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. And he's worked out, so he looks good.
Yeah.
It's a good
Oh
pick.
yeah, he does.
Nice one. Well,
Any others before we wrap it up?
that was all that I had. Those are all the ones that I had.
Go to the second round.
Yep.
Where was Vancouver?
Yeah, Vancouver
Grayson
safety was good.
Thomason.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, he was good. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
him.
he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
That's
especially
another-
with some of those DBs that we were looking at, we're like,
Another
for this guy
corner.
to slip into the second round.
Yeah, so
I
the
mean,
guy
he
that I
looks
took in
great.
the guy I took in the first round, I kind of was weighing him up a little bit against this one. The endurance bar
Mhm.
was quite
Yep.
a big deciding factor.
Oh yeah, I think 100% that's the only reason why this guy dropped into the second round was that endurance bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not horrible on a defensive back to have really low endurance. But, he won't quite get on the field enough for his bars, right?
It's
Mhm.
worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And it would have been worth it in low end of the first as well. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope he moved he didn't move in the corner though.
He doesn't need to. He just plays him at corner. Like I said, for the secondary, it really doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you swap their position or not.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
it doesn't. But you can go back and forth.
Hmm
It won't affect them, even as vets.
Yeah, but then there's lazy.
That's, yeah.
Hey, he'll be cheaper, won't he, as well, if he stays as a safety?
Yes. Maybe not at strong safety.
Right.
Yeah.
That is the theory why I left my guy at free safety, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, free
but
safeties are a little cheaper than corners or strong safeties. So
So move them all to free safety.
yes.
well, there's roster limits, right? You have to have a certain number of
No, all the
corners.
safeties should be free safeties. And
But
no.
on this topic, I basically took all my guys who are out.
That's cheating, but
I took all my guys who were outside linebackers last season, moved them to inside linebackers, paid them less, and then just basically filled up the outside linebackers with kind of just whoever guys off the street, because
Are
I'm
you
not going to ever give them a second contract anyway.
are you
Mhm.
playing a 3-4 or 4-3?
4-3.
Isn't middle linebacker the most valuable? Well, I don't know how it works out with contracts, but
Yeah, but you can only play one of them. But no, the outside guys ask way more.
oh, that's even in a 4-3.
Yeah, like 30%, 40% more.
Bug. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Except
so-
for I would say like if you get the top tier middle linebackers in a 4-3, they're gonna ask for more than an outside linebacker, whatever.
That's sort
yeah,
of,
and you do have to, you do need them to cooperate on what they identify as, right?
Yes.
So I'll show you the guy in particular I'm talking about is this one. Actually, no, he identifies as an outside, but I moved him to middle linebacker and he took 5 million less. But he still thinks he's an outside guy. Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works, but I mean that's
probably because he's so small.
He
He's
is a
Yeah.
tiny one.
Yeah, he's a 4-3 only, but I mean, some
Yeah.
of the 4-3 guys, outside guys, I mean, they literally ask for 3-4 weak side linebacker money just because of their position, I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but won't the guys under a certain weight always identify as 4-3 weak side? Just because
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they ask money for. I mean, the weak side linebacker on a 4-3, he's probably not going to be pass rushing that much, right?
hmm
But sometimes they ask for money as if they are those guys, right?
Yeah.
And then if you move them inside, they will sometimes, quite often, in fact, take a bit less.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just it's like a cap hack basically to
Yep.
just constantly move them inside when you're paying them.
Four right tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely a few of those little cap hacks out there where it's like swap position, sign guy, swap back, you're all good.
Yep. Now, guys, should we wrap up? We've done at least
Yeah.
3 hours again, I think.
Yeah, man. That was good.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for taking part. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks for
this.
doing this. We'll
Appreciate
stay up.
Yeah. No worries. Have a good weekend, everyone.
And as always, for anybody out there watching, if you're in the IFL, you're more than welcome to join us on this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Most definitely.
All right, guys. Right, take care.
Yep.
Bye.